Hello, NoDQ Galaxy, to episode number 250 of the NoDQ review, live right here on this fabulous Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we are going to have a lot of revolving door action going on with different panel members coming on throughout the next hour, 2 hours, hopefully not 3.5, 4 hours, but we'll see how it goes. Right now, we have Aaron Rift in the house, the reliable Walter Cruz, the once Mo camera, and of course, Greg is here. And I think Aaron said he was on a predictions video. So here we are, episode 250. Aaron didn't even have fireworks or confetti or nothing. Maybe on 300 he will. But how's it going, everybody? Greg, what's going on?
Yeah, all good. Pretty late for me here, but yeah, couldn't miss 250. Appreciate Aaron inviting me back for round two, and yeah, let's get discussing all the latest. There's a few pay-per-views coming up, so let's get going.
Now, as I'm getting closer to our first topic, just so the NoDQ Galaxy knows, like we did in episode 200, your super chats will dictate our topics. Now, if you try to troll me and not super chat anything, it's not going to be dead air. We have things to talk about. But just to let you know, start getting those ideas going, send them out, and we will talk about them during this episode of the review. Mo Camera, what's going on? Are you doing your Lyft or your Uber drive as you are on the video right now? What's going on?
No, I don't do Uber or forklift. I mean, sorry, Uber or Lyft. I don't know where you got that idea from. Maybe
I thought you moved people around, took them like taxi, no?
Oh, no, I do that on my free time. They call me the bone collector.
Oh, well, I don't know if I want to have that person take me anywhere, but
it's a movie, right? I don't know if you've seen the movie The Bone Collector, but yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
anyways, yeah.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, it's an old movie, but yeah. I'm just enjoying my last 2 weeks of summer.
Well, don't
take advantage of it.
Don't take your eyes off the road and get in an accident on the account of us. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll be back to you shortly because I never know these days. Are you WWE? Are you AEW? You flip flop up and down.
Should I answer that right now?
Yo-yo. No. Just wait. I'm sure we'll be talking about both companies. Walter Cruz, what's going on?
Nothing much. Thanks for having me. Let's just get into it because it's going to be a long video, so we don't need the long intros to add to it.
Look at you wanting to save time, conserve time. All right, Aaron, over to you.
All right. Well, you guys want fireworks? I suppose I can go into our budget and have a few fireworks. All right, there you have it. Now, we have some more fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as I see his picture in the waiting room, we are going to bring him in. But I do want to read a few super chats before we get started. Send in your questions, everyone. The super chats will determine what our topics are. Sun Goshuaku sent in $2, but no question, just a comment. He said he cannot be on, unfortunately, but he will watch on demand. He says, congrats on 250. Much love and appreciation to Sun. Thank you for that. And Mr. Tito, who has the link, the ball is in his court. I want Mr. Tito on tonight, but we'll see if he can make it. He says, congrats on 250 shows. Thank you, Mr. Tito. Hope to see you soon. Now, without any further ado, the man of the hour, not just a NoDQ review legend, but a legend in the history of NoDQ.com, period, going back to the early days of the website. Ladies and gentlemen, from rainy Canyon Country, California, good old JM, Jeff Meacham in the house. Jeff, welcome to NoDQ Review 250.
Aaron, is that you? I can hear you over the flood. You all right? You good? Okay. This weather's crazy.
Yeah, there is a tropical storm in Southern California. Jeff is right there.
We have a legit Category 1 hitting us, and we had an earthquake a little while ago. What the shit? It's crazy, but we're here. It's 250. I wasn't a part of number 200 for very long because I was at the Paradise Kitty show that somehow ran shorter an actual rock concert than this episode. But it's okay. It was just a fun night when we did that a year ago, almost a year ago now. And yeah, looking forward to this. Cool. We're going to talk about Edge. We kind of talked about him last night during the chaos of karaoke that Walter was part of with us. So we'll see how the night show goes. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So Walter Cruz is going to get us started here on a high note. Walter, you sent in a very generous $20 super chat. Walter is the big baller of NoDQ now. We appreciate you, Walter. He says, let's get right to it. Worst segment from any wrestling company. And of course, congratulations to Aaron, Virtue, and all of NoDQ for 250 episodes. Hashtag stick to my shtick. Now, I would like a clarification. Walter, you talking about WWE, AEW, TNA, WCW, like which promotions?
Any of them.
Okay, any of them. All right. Who would like to start with this? I mean, this might take a few minutes to think of some worst segments.
I know one right off the rip.
Go ahead.
Go.
Katie Vick.
Yep.
You stole mine.
Yeah. Well, no. Katie Vick is the first, if you want to call it a news story, that we ever covered on an ODQ media broadcast. So I'm all in on that one for sure. That's definitely one. Anything that had Hulk Hogan in the Dungeon of Doom for WCW was just the shits. Just awful stuff.
WCW, I say Chucky. The whole Chucky and RoboCop.
No, but you know what? Though? That was at least funny. That was at least funny. To be fair.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Worst
Freaking Dungeon
WCW
was just so
segment.
bad.
I mean, worst WCW segment. Where do we even begin? I mean, Dr. Bropio has a few ideas. Katie Vick, finger poke of doom, which is pretty much everyone's go-to for WCW. Most of Russo's ideas in WCW, just to name a few. Well, what about Chucky in WCW?
That's what Walter just said.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
It's okay. It's okay.
I
Bad
can't think
signal.
of any.
Yeah, it unfortunately for Vince Russo, anything after October 99 is going to get that label right away because it was just such a already derailed train at that point. That was pretty bad. But again, that was funny. Like when I think of horrible, I don't think of it as me being amused by it. It was just like, oh, can we not? Like Katie Vick. Like, can we not? It was horrible. At least with Chucky, with the Mae Young thing, it still got a chuckle out of me.
Well, we got some good comments here. The Triple H Booker T promo, the You People promo.
That was cringe.
That's rough.
I don't know if the segment was as bad as the match, but that whole where Hogan was seeing Warrior in the mirror and all that's the worst match ever between those two.
That whole story was so bad. Like it just people give Russo sometimes not crap for the segments and the stuff he booked. That is straight Bischoff creative, bringing the Warrior in. The match was what it was, and the creative leading up to it was probably some of the worst shit I ever saw. Oh my God.
That was just Hogan. That was Hogan wanting his win back. That's what that was.
And you know what? That's just Hogan. But they could have done a million things better than the way they presented the Warrior on WCW television. It was so horrible.
Mo, what do you got?
Yeah, Roman Reigns, right? Go ahead. Tell us all the bad Roman Reigns segments.
The dog food with Baron
Well, we do
Corbin.
have 5 hours.
No, we don't. I'll be done by that. I'll be done way before then.
So
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Didn't mean to clear off. So the first one that comes to my mind is the Kalisto promo. That infamous promo that Roman Reigns cut in Chicago, where I think he kept forgetting his lines and the fans kept shitting on him. Trish Stratus barking like a wolf.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon acting like God, he was summoning God or whatever. The old day, new day, Uzi so hot or whatever. Man, it's just.
Damn.
But the Kalisto one was really bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
good lucha things.
Greg, you got any?
I was just having a look online quickly, and
Right.
I just saw like Boogeyman eating Jillian's mole.
Oh God,
that's a
Do you
good
remember
one.
that?
Yeah.
But also Vince getting blown up in the limo, and then obviously a week later.
yeah.
Well, that was real life situations.
I know.
But Vince, the whole Vince limo thing was just so over the top, and then like Paul London laughing or smirking as Vince was walking out there. His career was basically done after that.
Yeah, rip.
Oh yeah. He had to beat the big G smile from when he saw Jeff Jarrett.
Now, Virtue, would you say MJF and Adam Cole is up there for you?
I mean, it's you could put it in the conversation. Like, I've found none of that entertaining. A lot of the AEW stuff, like they do so much wrestling and matches. It's like more match related stuff. And so it's really, you can't necessarily pick on AEW is like, what segments are bad, but I would say the whole end of the what was the match where the ring did not blow up properly and it looked like crap. Yes, that was the end of a match, but like that was just hysterical. Like that was just bad. You think they would have done their homework and hey, this is gonna be on national television. What's it gonna look like? And it's like they didn't even plan, and it just that was bad. But is that the end of a match? Is that a segment? I don't know. But poor Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, I was going to say that had the legit sound of a wet fart in church. It was so bad.
Yeah. And Virtue, we haven't even scratched the surface of LOL TNA moments like Claire Lynch or...
I was thinking of that when you first brought that up.
Abyss with the Hall of Fame ring. There's just so many infamous TNA segments.
So I put it in the chat, the private chat. I forget the circumstances of it, but there was a period of time that I know Mickie James and James Storm were feuding. And like it ended with literally James dragging Mickie to a railroad stop and having Mickie get hit by a train off camera. What the hell was that?
Yeah, that was bad.
Like I don't even remember it all. Like, it was so bad. I think my brain purposely, like subconsciously, like, okay, you can't remember this because it'll like ruin your life. So
the whole Piggy James in WWE was bad. That would not fly in 2023. Imagine trying to do that right now.
Yeah, that like how they got away with it even when they did is.
And the Triple H, when Triple H told Booker T, people like you can become champion or whatever.
Yeah,
Aaron mentioned that earlier. Oh my God, yeah.
That was horrible.
As good as Mania 19 was, Aaron and I were almost at Mania 19, man. That the lead up to that one was.
I'll tell you what, that wouldn't be as bad if Booker T won the match. Then it would have been okay. But the fact that Triple H won after like a 30 seconds after hitting after hitting the pedigree, and then took forever to pin him and still won, made that like 10 times worse. It wouldn't have been as bad as Booker T won.
No, what about when Daniel Bryan got squashed in 8 seconds at WrestleMania?
I almost lost my apartment over that match because I about destroyed the place.
Now
wait a minute. That was done by design because it got him over.
Well, yeah, some of these segments were counterproductive. At least that did something for Bryan's career. But what about? I think Jeff, in his opinion, the worst segment ever was John Cena getting destroyed by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam.
See, okay. For me, it was traumatizing, yes. But if you go back, I forget who he talked to recently. It may have been Van Vliet. I don't remember who it was now. Sorry, Chris, if it was, my bad. But he made a good point. Undertaker had just lost the streak to this guy. You're not going to have anybody go in there be competitive. So Brock destroying John makes sense in that context, but in the moment, it's awful. That was bad. Collins that was one of the worst things in recent memory by far. There he is. There it is coming across. There we go. Yeah, Nia Jax anything after she broke Becky's nose and basically ruined Ronda Rousey's WWE career.
But if it wasn't for that, would Becky be the man right now? So it's like some things, happy accidents.
Yes,
you can look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot, right? Of all the companies, and you can go back. I'm sure we'll remember more like after this, like when we're done later tonight, laying in bed.
Right.
There's just so many.
An ROH one.
The Victory Road, Jeff Hardy might be at the top actually.
TNA wise, I think that's the worst one because it really didn't end up being a match. It ended up just being let's get the hell out of here while we can.
And didn't they turn that into a story? Like I remember AJ yelling at him about like they turned into a story, and AJ was like, "You doing that, and I gotta pay for my family." It's like they try to turn it into a story after.
Well, I mean, they had to do something. I mean, Jeff shouldn't have gone out there at all in the first place. But the fact that they did what they did to cover it was what it was.
The ones that are bad are the ones where it's like you can tell the company's putting them out there in that position to embarrass them or to rib them or to they did something and they're trying to like teach them a lesson. Those are the ones that are just like cringy. It has like the whole Kane and Undertaker thing was great. Paul Bearer coming out and telling that story. That was fine because it got a legendary feud over, helped get Kane over.
Right.
But all those like cringy ones, like the Piggy James, like you said, and the list goes on, like when it's just to demean somebody, those are the bad ones. I mean, and the hand with Mae Young. I mean, come on. Like
but Virtue, you talk about Undertaker Kane by the same token, the whole catching Paul Bearer and King talking backstage about, Paul Bearer doing Undertaker's mama. That part was like, oof, that's
was that the one with, was that where Lawler was there?
Yeah. So King was interviewing Paul Bearer backstage, and the camera didn't turn off, and they didn't know. That's what Lawler said when he came back from break, and that just sent Undertaker into a freaking rage. And again, it's advancing the story, which is fine, but just the actual verbiage, it's like you look back now, you go, maybe rewrite that one.
The Fiend losing to Goldberg was the worst abomination in pro wrestling history. I don't care what anybody says.
That's more of a booking than a segment.
That was excellent because Kofi had no business being WWE champion over a few niche fans thinking it was his time, his moment. Daniel Bryan was one of the hottest heels going, and he did the job, did the favor for Kofi, the feel good moment. But like, what needle did Kofi really move? He didn't. As the act, the New Day, they could have continued to do what they did. Kofi did not need to be champion. I think that it really diminished Big E's eventual title reign. When I looked at the New Day, I thought Big E is the guy from that to be a top star. And by the time he won it, I didn't care as much because Kofi had it. So, hey, let everybody have it. And I'm not saying, Kofi could be a world champion, but I don't know, maybe like the secondary world. There's always been two world titles for a while. Maybe that secondary world title. I don't know.
I'll put it this way, Virtue. The fact that both champion, and again, I'm not trying to discredit the women, so please don't take it like that out there, folks. But the fact that both world title singles programs going into WrestleMania were not strong enough to even consider putting them last instead of what ended up being a triple threat botch fest at the end of the night. Because Brock started the show, which I think was good. It was a good way to book it because Heyman's like, well, if we're not going on last, we're going on first. And they got the hell out of there. But Kofi and Bryan was like, what, midway through the card?
And let me tell you, Jeff, I'm glad you reminded me that Brock does the job when he needs to get somebody over. He put Goldberg over. He put Rollins over. He's put Roman over. He didn't go out there saying, I must beat Kofi. The reason why WWE did that is because Kofi wasn't moving anything.
No,
he had his run. The feel-good story came and went.
Yep.
The New Day was still going to be a New Day mid-card act, whether Kofi had the title or not. Let's make Brock look dominant. That's what happened. It wasn't a shit on Kofi.
No, and it wasn't.
It was just boom, Brock is back on the top. We need our beast.
It was the first night on Fox. So they had to do something like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And they did,
but
man.
That devalues the whole title, Jeff. It makes it look super weak.
Okay, so
it doesn't, you idiot. Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is like one of the best ever in the history of WWE, the most powerful. He's a legit UFC fighter that's won real fights. Him beating Kofi in seconds is realistic. Kofi was like resting on his laurels and he just wasn't paying attention, and boom, here comes Brock Lesnar. Don't be a mark, man. It totally made sense.
So yeah, 100%. My response, but calmer.
Could it have been a 2-minute squash and you would have been a little less upset? Okay, maybe. I'll give in to you on that. Maybe not 10 seconds or less.
Virtue, in the moment, fans are like, what the hell? But Aaron and I talked about it in the car on the way home. I was like, you know what? That was brilliant.
Hey, and was Brock not being established as a top heel right then?
I mean, Brock comes back after being gone how long? Comes in there, takes the WWE Championship back, and like I said, in the moment you're like, oh, really?
And he put Corbin in a series of matches. Who's the next one, right?
Yeah,
Brock does what he needs to do for business.
Yep. And you know, people
that night.
People gave Brock the pass back then because Brock Lesnar. Charlotte Flair says that now. I don't wait in line and everybody shits on her. That's a double standard and it sucks.
By the way, Mo, I can't see you anymore. You have your car light on?
No, it's getting dark.
Yeah, there you
it's
go.
illegal to do that.
All right, Aaron, what else
can't have
do we got?
Do
we got any other super chats that have rolled in yet?
Yeah, we got several
I can bring up some topics.
I mean, great starting topic, Walter. I mean, very
there goes 20 minutes.
Very solid.
Well, no, but that's like yesterday. Walter got the first super chat out that we made like freaking almost $500 yesterday. So
now Billy L just has an opinion here, which is kind of on topic with what we were just discussing. He says Ric Flair and AJ Styles wasn't that bad. So for those of you that remember, AJ Styles was wearing the robe like Ric Flair and acting like Ric Flair. I did not think it was good, but it certainly was not the worst TNA gimmick that they did. There were lots of ones that I think were even more counterproductive. I think Claire Lynch was worse for AJ's career than
by a lot.
Yeah.
By a lot. And hell, Flair's last match last year was worse than anything Flair did in TNA, period. I said what I said.
I refuse to watch that match. I've never seen it.
Watch it with our commentary. It's way better.
All right. We got some more super chats here, so we'll move away from that. Shanti is here just with a comment. No question. He says, aloha from Hawaii, y'all. Happy 250. Can't wait for episode 420. Oh, man. Walter Cruz, that's going to be the episode. You, Mikey, we're going to get you guys on if we're still going for 420. That's quite a ways away, though. That might be like
we got to get to 300.
How close is Shanti to Maui? Anybody know?
Not sure. Shanti, how close are you?
Yeah, please let us know, because now, like, God, we were watching the news last week. It was difficult to watch.
Yeah, our best.
And I got to give AEW their credit for doing that. AEW did to turn Dynamite into that and do that. I got to give AEW their credit for that.
And Collision last night too.
Tony Khan felt so great that he did that. He put himself on Dynamite in backstage segment, which I think we're going to start seeing more and more and more and more.
I know.
He's stealing your gimmick, wearing the sunglasses indoors.
That's it. He's going to be involved in finish next Sunday.
Those are bright lights up there, and I got really sensitive eyes, so I got a good reason for it.
I do not need him to become an on-screen character. Tony Khan, get off my
TV. After next Sunday,
I barely can take it. I can barely take it when you do
Of course, it's happening right with the story and the whatever's going on with my favorite MJF and Adam Cole. Of course, it's happening with that. Of course.
You know.
But all
right, we'll move on here. Da Anime Gen 2.0 sent in $2. Jeff, maybe you can give us some info on this. He says, is Greg Cherry's favorite idol SSR on the review? Like, I'm not sure what that's about, but Jeff, you want to send both of those guys DMs and invite them to be on? Like, send them
trying to reference somebody. He's trying to reference somebody else with it's SRS on SSR. I don't think the second person will be on, but I can always let Greg know we're going. Yes.
Let him know. Send them both the link.
I don't DM the other guy for the record.
Anybody that's watching this, send them an invite.
Tell him Virtue's on.
If somebody with a less hostile conversation in DMs than I have with Sean can do it, please, by all means, go for it. Because I'm not DMing that guy anymore. Nope.
Anybody know Dave Meltzer? Have him come on too.
Oh, please, somebody invite Dave Meltzer, please. That'd be
fun. It would be for a fun.
Hell, somebody DM Johnny Lawrence. I don't have to worry about doing it next Friday in person.
Dave Meltzer will be on this stream. He'll be on this stream and still not give it 5 stars.
And Greg and Mo, just feel free if you have something to say, speak up right now. See, Walter gets it, Jeff gets it, but like this is like a very informal. with this type of show, I'm not going to go necessarily around the horn like I normally do. So if you feel like you haven't said anything, you have something to say, put your hand up or just blurt out and say it, man. That's what we do here.
Put your hands up.
Yeah, I just want to stay on topic.
I'm giving you permission. Yeah. I'm trying to have an easy night for me. So, okay. What do we got next?
Just, Greg, you're swimming with the sharks tonight. Just letting you know, these guys they like to get their voice in and their opinion. Walter and Jeff, you have to fight for talking time when Walter and Jeff are on. Just letting you know.
Oh yeah, I know. I love it. We've got 3 hours to fill, so we're all good.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Colin Andrews sent in $2. Shout out to the Cleaver. Hopefully he'll be on at some point tonight. I know he said he was going to try. He says, favorite no DQ review moments so far. Cheers to 250. I'll start. My favorite moment was when I put Virtue in his place last week when he was complaining about MJF and Adam Cole, because for 3 or 4 years now he's been like, AEW just does wrestling, and then they finally do something outside of the box.
And it's bad. It is horrible, and only the marks would say it's good. It's horrible. It's bad. Dynamite, 847,000 people.
Wembley
Stadium, 4 years
people.
in. Wembley Stadium. Okay, let's see them do that here. Let's see them go back to Wembley in a year and do that.
You're always moving the goalposts.
I'm not moving the goalposts.
I don't think they
I'm
can
just
do
not
40,000.
I'm not a
then
mark.
They do 50,000.
I'm not a mark.
Well,
and when something's bad, I'm going to say it's bad, and I'm not going to say, oh, it's good because Adam Cole, baby. God, man, if I want to see a wrestler go against a legit jacked world champion, I could go watch an indie fed or a backyard fed. I don't want to see that. But anyway, checkmate.
My favorite.
I disagree.
Anytime you two go at it.
Cole is, in my humble opinion, I think Adam Cole is the main eventer in any promotion you put him in. It's 2023.
Boom.
All that body shaming shit. That's 50 years
He's
ago.
a stupid little dwarf of a man. That's not his fault. And so in the wrestling business, he has a place, right? I would never want a wrestler to not have work. But his place, like I said last week, Mo, in case you weren't paying attention, is against Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy for that North Atlantic, whatever title that is, right there in that mid card, the mascot versus the mascot. Boom! He totally has a spot.
You also said
totally
he needs to be a manager. I disagree.
Yeah, he needs to be a manager.
Not a manager.
Him against anybody that looks legit.
Why? Because of his size?
Tough. Yeah, dude, he does not look tough at all. And unfortunately, in NXT, I want to say it seemed like in WWE he maybe did the work a little bit more. And I don't know if it was because of the guys he was going against, like Johnny Gargano. I believed it a little bit more. I was like, okay, that's the NXT thing, Adam Cole. I believe it there, right? I remember Aaron, weren't we at some events with Adam Cole wrestling, or was that a little bit before his time? I can't remember. Yeah, but that was fine. But now you're coming into the main event scene, and I don't know. You can put in work. I don't see that work being put in. He just wants to go out there, do that wrestling stuff that the wrestling fans like, and it doesn't fly with me, man.
Well, I don't want to go off.
Who's going to win, by the way? Who's going to win that match, Mo? The biggest live wrestling event in the history of wrestling events, and that's your title match. Who's going to win it?
I think MJF needs to hold that title and bring it to WWE.
Why? He needs to hold that title because you don't want to put it on Adam Cole? I thought.
No.
I'm confused right now. What's going on? Why wouldn't you say Adam Cole should win on that big stage to prove me wrong, to prove all the haters wrong? And you didn't go with that there?
It's too early. I think he should hold that title until WrestleMania, have him show up on Raw with the AEW title, but he re-signs with AEW. So it's like
that ain't never gonna happen.
It's like a forbidden door type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, never gonna happen. Greg, thoughts on MJF here and Adam Cole, baby? Like you might be a big fan too. Go ahead, let me have it.
No, listen, I like them both individually. I was loving MJF when he was full on, beating up.
And I like
kids in the
MJF,
crowd.
by the way. Like the whole not like that. I've been a big proponent of MJF because just the way he is, that character. So
Yeah, it looks like it comes natural to him. Like even being just now, even being a face, and he's still being a bit dickish on the side. And the thing is, what I think is that the next 2 weeks, in terms of All In and All Out, is very key to how this story plays out, because that it's right in the moment here. It's like it depends. I think one of them's turning on each other in the tag match, and then we're going to get to the main event. And I think MJF is winning too. I can't see Adam Cole winning, because I
You don't
think it's
think they're
all.
going to have just a match and then shake hands and hug at the end, be two best friends? And like, there's some, believe it or not, there's some people that would love to see that. No animosity. They end up on the same page, just have a good battle. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Nah, because I've got to sit. For starters, MJF has to go back to. Even though I think Cole is turning on him for the swerve, I still think MJF should be the one going back to heel because he plays it so well. But I think for All Out, they're looking at Punk versus MJF, and I don't know, maybe they're going the route of Punk being a heel because he's getting.
And look,
mixed.
I'm going to be like, people know that I like Punk, and
Same.
if he's gonna get back into that realm, MJF became the champ. The dude did the work, right? He's not that tall of a guy. Dude got more jacked than he ever was.
Yep.
Punk might need to get back in the gym a little bit more based on what we saw recently. I won't just be like critical of Adam Cole. Punk might need to kind of get back in the swing of things a little bit if he wants to be back in that main event level. I mean, that's just my opinion, but stars need to look like stars. You have the rest of the show for the rest of the people, right? So everybody has a place. But anyway, thank you, Greg. Aaron, anybody else want to talk on that? I'm sure Aaron has other things.
Walter, you've been part of the NoDQ review for a while. Any favorite moment that you've been thinking of?
Anytime used to go at it, Virtue and Aaron, but no, I think 200, just the whole episode 200.
That was
awesome.
Classic. Yeah. How long was that officially?
4.5 hours.
I think it's 4.5 hours.
Like I said, we started the Paradise Kitty show that night after the review started, because I was on the review before the show started. They ran through the entire Appetite for Destruction album, and we were still done before you guys.
Nice.
Crazy.
I brought extra water for tonight, but I
don't
think we're going 4.5 hours, but we got plenty of super chats coming in, so we're going to keep going for a while here.
At some point, we will talk about Edge.
Yes, there is a super chat about Edge, so we will discuss that. Anime Gen 2.0 says Virtue is speaking facts. Marks are delusional like Mo.
And look, they have the right to like what they like, and every wrestling show should still have that content. Like, so I'm not trying to take all of that away. Sometimes, though, recently in this era, like you say, Mo, I see like way too much of it. Like, I don't know. And I feel like, and we don't need to have hardcore attitude era stuff completely overtake it, because that would be the other end of the spectrum. It needs to be that balance. And I know that's where Aaron was trying to think. He trumped me by saying, well, AEW is trying. Okay, good for trying. Let's keep trying. And they're going to get it eventually. So
I think
AEW
sports entertainment. Who's that guy that's where the fans chant, "You're a wrestler"? He does that funny dance. That's sports entertainment. Christian Cage is sports entertainment. MJF and Adam Cole, that's good stuff. I mean, to me, they have some good sports entertainment. Sometimes, most of the time, better than WWE, because when WWE does sports entertainment, it comes off as cringe.
Yeah, like they're 80-20 on the sports entertainment versus the wrestling. AEW's the 80% 20 more wrestling. Yeah. So true. I don't know. At least between if you add up the two companies, then you have a mix of everything, right? There you go.
I think
what's the two wrestling promotions in the world? The top two, WWE and AEW. AEW doing 80,000 plus at Wembley. WWE doing whatever they're already doing in Philadelphia 2 nights. I get it. And already rumors about them doing Wembley. See, it's creating a competition.
Yeah, which is good.
But yeah, Virtue, you're right. There, it's a balance. You get wrestling on AEW where you don't get it so much at WWE. So they compensate each other. It's a balance.
Very true. All right, we got more super chats. Matt Phillips Reviews, shout out, says, congrats on 250. Thank you. Still enjoying Jeff's knowledge, my peacekeeping, Walter's humor, Virtue's stubbornness, and Big G is still happy to be there.
I like
or
that
here.
last part. He's happy. I don't know if he's as happy to be here when he's on, though, than when he's as happy as being in an arena with Jeff Jarrett.
Okay. Exactly. And how happy was Big G when Jeff Jarrett won the Leatherface Championship? Virtue, did you like that segment or not? I'm curious.
I didn't hate it. Like, it was entertaining me because I'm a horror fan.
Me
so,
too.
like, you know me, I like the Bray Wyatt. Like, I'll be more generous on Bray Wyatt stuff than other people will. So, like, believe it or not, I wasn't like, it wasn't turning the channel off. It was like, wow, let's see what happens there. I mean, even Leatherface coming out, even though I knew it was an indie worker or an AEW worker, it was funny. Like, it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was sports entertainment.
That chainsaw through the speakers was louder than the Clippers with Shotzi.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, whoa, like, jeez.
That was scary, man. So, since he's not here, I don't know if he's going to be here tonight or not. I have been asked to please stop referencing Big G with Double J. Like, it's legitimately pissing him off at this point, for real.
Oh.
No wonder he's not on tonight.
Yeah, just it was funny the first time. It was even funny like the 10th time.
But
not
the 150th time, not so much.
Wait, so Aaron is a bully?
Be a star.
Oh, that's right.
So
Be a star, not a
Virtue's
bully.
out. He's had enough. He
Virtue's already done.
We're
wait,
doing
Aaron,
the WWE thing and running into a ground.
Aaron's been bullying Big G with that Jeff Jarrett stuff.
Oh no! Like, trust me. Like, we'll bring him on to our stuff, and we'll bring Jarrett up, and he will get mad. It's like, whoa! It's not Aaron. Wait! Stop! And yeah, no.
Yeah, Aaron. If my phone dies, am I allowed to come back? Because I have to like go home and plug my. You may be off for a while,
we'll see if we can get you back on, but we're going to be rotating the panel tonight, so we'll see how that works out. But
I'll be in the waiting. I'll be in the waiting room.
Is the moderator okay? What happened to Virtue?
We don't know what happened.
I think he's butthurt about Big G. He thought Big G was liking the Jeff Jarrett references.
I didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
Oh, there you go.
Is there House California, Jeff? Is it like a big hurricane, like Hurricane?
So Hurricane Hillary hit the wee hours of the night. It kind of touchdown. It seemed like a tornado. Dumb shit. Clearly a weather expert. It came into San Diego last night. It's definitely hitting here hard as far as the rain. The rain's been steady all day. And we actually had an earthquake here during our coverage of the Impact show. It was like, I literally sat down in my chair to go on camera, and all of a sudden it started doing this shit on its own. I'm like, okay, earthquake too, cool.
Man, what is wrong with America? Holy shit.
The hurricane
California.
Hurricane Hillary's not going to hit that hard. It's just going to blow by like her husband.
Remember that one in Florida that happened last year? Like a huge hurricane in Florida?
What's so funny, and this is like off topic, but Virtue's not here, so we'll just real quick. I got a call yesterday that I'm clear to go back to work at Disney, and I got a call from people that the office is at Epcot down there in Orlando. So we finished our conversation about my medical stuff, and I go, I need to ask you one more thing. You're in Florida. What do I do tomorrow? we don't train for the hurricane shit here in California. Like, we can need earthquakes, fires, floods, but like, we're good. Hurricanes.
Oh, and also, Jeff, I saw that hurricane. The Las Vegas got impacted as well. There was a huge flood in Las Vegas. There was some
flooding in Vegas, but that was just because at the time it hit into Baja, it was so
We got to move on here. You guys are getting way off the rails here. We got a lot of
I'm pulling a Walter Cruz.
We also have more people in the waiting room wanting to be on. So we got to keep this ball rolling. But I appreciate the convo here. But we gotta move forward here. Let me read a few more super chats because they're just piling in here. And Virtue, not sure if he's coming back where he went. Maybe he's dealing with some kind of natural disaster right now. I don't know. Mr. Tito says, if y'all want Tito on tonight, keep flooding these guys with super chats to keep them around after 9 p.m. Have new computer system with network wire too.
Ooh, fancy.
Well, we will be going longer than 9 o'clock Eastern. So I think that means we will get Mr. Tito. The question is, will we get Mr. Tito with Virtue? That remains to be seen. But we'll get to that in just a few moments.
Tito and Virtue and Mo Camera. There we go.
That would be fun.
Who?
To watch.
Who?
Mr. Tito and the two of you, Virtue and you.
All right. Shanti sent in a $2 super chat, says, favorite no DQ moment, 2 words, Rift Aronson.
No.
Damn you to hell for that, Shanti. Why would you even say such a thing?
I like
Son of a bitch.
I love that Matt Cardona ruined your hair. That was the funniest video ever.
That was a no DQ review moment. Stick to the topic.
That was no DQ moment. That guy said no DQ moment.
Hey, Aaron, are you also going to talk about the person who got arrested?
Well, if we get a super chat, we'll talk about it. I did give my opinion during the collision recap.
Yeah, yesterday. Bert, we lost the moderator?
We lost the moderator.
Yeah, we've lost Bert. We have no idea what happened.
We'll see if he comes back or not. Maybe he's checking in on Big G.
I think Big G kidnapped him.
We got the Renegade. JJ Williams in the house. JJ, how's it going?
It's going good, guys. How's it going over with you all today? Walter, good to see you again. Jeff, I swear, like I only was doing a stream with you like 45 minutes ago.
Seems like
I was going to say, did you guys sleep?
Greg, no camera, nice to meet you.
Yeah. I think it's my first time being introduced to one another, first time meeting you. It's good to see you.
Good to be seen. Good to be seen.
Walter, no, I didn't sleep because I was battling the freaking flood control in the garage all night. So no, I have not slept yet.
Damn.
So
all right, let's get to some more super chats here. We got This Guy Experience, who is in the waiting room. We'll get him on here in just a few moments. This Guy Experience said, see you gentlemen soon. He says, Baron Corbin for world champion one day. Greg, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's still a possibility for Baron Corbin to be a world champion?
No, listen, I like him in the early days, the Lone Wolf, don't get me wrong, but you look at him now and there's a reason he's in NXT again. He's trying to put over some of the kids, and because he's got the experience, but to be a world champ, come on now. It's like these days, if you're really good, you get put in the scene, and I don't think so. I think it's a ship that sailed.
Fair enough. Anybody else have an opinion? I don't think he's going to be world champion at this point. I feel like he's there to be a good hand, help work with some of the younger talent, but I don't see it happening. Walter?
I think they might give him a run as a thank you for helping the younger guys a run as an NXT champion again, but never the actual WWE champion of the world heavyweight. Maybe the NXT champ, but not anything other than that.
Yeah, he's like the male version of Lacey Evans, just extremely boring, man.
Oh, geez.
I think they had potential with him because for the longest time, he was the last person to pin Roman Reigns. And they did like nothing with that gimmick. Like they really could have played it up. Now, was he going to dethrone Roman? Absolutely not. Roman's way too hot. But they just didn't even touch the fact that he was the last person to pin him. Like there at least could have been a feud or a rivalry there somewhere. A filler feud for Roman, you know, giving Corbin a little bit of limelight.
I think they had it with the bum-ass Corbin, and they just screwed it up. Bum-ass Corbin was a great gimmick, and they just screwed it up. You could have ran that all the way into turn into a face and become the most popular person. They just screwed it up.
I agree with Walter.
What'd I miss?
Baron Corbin, do you think he could still be a world champion? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, there you go. We're
Not
going
in WWE.
We're continuing to rotate the panel. Jeff had to take a very important call, so he stepped out for a bit. Greg, I'm going to let you go because This Guy Experience has been waiting to get on. So anything you would like to plug or promote, any final thoughts you had on any of the topics we talked about?
No, just obviously thanks for having me on again. And if I'm allowed back for the predictions on Thursday, that'd be great.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you,
take
guys.
care, Greg. We'll see you hopefully soon.
Take care, man. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care. All right. That was Greg. And now we will bring on This Guy Experience, who's been waiting a while to be on. This guy, welcome to the No DQ Review, episode number 250. How's it going, man?
You're muted, This Guy.
You're on mute.
You're muted, This Guy.
Botch.
There you go.
No, don't give me the botch. Don't give me the botch trophy. No.
No Scott here, so
Don't
you're
worry,
safe.
my internet connection just took a crap, so it's all right, man. It adds character to these shows.
But yeah, I'm doing great, guys. I bought shoes, one of my favorite taunts of all time, which is Triple H intro. But yeah, I'm doing great. Congratulations on 250, and let's continue this show. But I disagree with everybody. No offense, Corbin. I still think he has a chance. I truly do. They just got to do some structuring with his character a little bit. Maybe let him sit down in NXT for a few more months, take out everybody, bring both him and Braun Breaker back up at the same. Well, bring him and Braun Breaker up at the same time, and have a decent feud for 6 months, and then we go from there.
All right. Well, thank you for that, and I guess we'll read off your other one. So thank you for the super chats. I appreciate it. And your comment here was, what is everyone's favorite match type? We'll go in order here. Me, Walter, Mo, and this guy can give your thoughts, Virtue, and then JJ. My favorite match type, I would have to say no DQ, right? What else could it be? No DQ. Walter?
This isn't exactly a type, but King of the Ring as a PLE. That's my favorite.
I like that choice. Mo?
I would say I like Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble? Well, that's a great match type. Very, very solid choice there. This guy?
It's a tie for me. It's between the E-Chamber, Elimination Chamber, and a 60-man Iron Man match. So it's always hard for me to decide between those two.
All right. Virtue?
Submission match.
Submission match. All right. And JJ?
I've always been a fan of the ladder matches, whether it's a traditional ladder or TLC.
All right,
Money
fair
in the
enough.
Bank ladder matches.
All good choices. I like all the choices. Nobody said Hell in a Cell or cage match, so there you go.
They watered it down too much.
They ruined
Yeah,
it with
I
that
agree.
Bray Wyatt and Bro Rollins.
Well, there you go. And the fact that they always have outside interference, even
And
though
the
they're
fact that it's
supposed
red,
to prevent people
that
from
screwed it.
interfering.
Screw you,
The whole-
Vince.
Changing the whole
crate of
color
hate.
screwed it all up.
The red crate of hate.
Yeah, exactly.
I like I Quit match too.
Those are good.
Nobody said Braun panties match.
It's 2023.
Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry.
2023. You have to be politically
We're
correct.
not a bunch of horny teenagers anymore.
Right?
I'm not a teenager anymore. Let me stop.
What about a live sex celebration? Is that like a match type?
No.
No.
No,
jeez.
that's a segment. We should have put that on the first one because whew.
All right, let's see here. We're going to do one more and then rotate out another person. This one comes from Dave Scheffler. Dave sent in a $5 super chat, so thank you for that, Dave. Much appreciated. Says, when is Jey Uso coming back? I've been listening since before 200, and you all do a great job. Thank you. And says, would like to be on a prediction show sometime if possible. Dave, send me an email, nodqmisc@gmail.com, and we'll try to get you on. Greg wants to be on one, and we have full panels, I think, actually, for the upcoming predictions, but we'll try to get you on one in the future. So send that in. And as far as when Jay's coming back, there's a rumor that they're going to hold off on doing Jimmy versus Jay. I guess let's go around here and get everybody's thoughts, like when this match should happen. Mo, let's start with you. When do you think Jay should come back? And when should the singles match happen? Should they do it at Payback or hold off to WrestleMania or do it at Survivor Series? What are your thoughts?
So before Jay returns, I think they should play their cards right. Have Jay show up at random indie promotions. It doesn't have to be AEW or whatever. It can be at a bingo hall or like a retirement home or whatever, just like for like $10 a pop, and boom, 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 boom. And then bring him back at Royal Rumble and have him eliminate Jimmy Uso and Solo. No,
All
sneak up from Jay, sneak up behind Jimmy, and then eliminate Jimmy, and then there you go.
All right, JJ, what are your thoughts?
I completely agree with that. I think the money is on him coming back at the Rumble, making a surprise return, eliminating Jimmy, possibly set up a match at the Chamber pay-per-view in February, have it go to like a schmozzy finish because the feud has to end in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Like the story just writes itself right there.
All right, Virtue, what do you think?
I'm sticking to my guns. I think somehow they're going to have Jimmy versus Roman in Saudi Arabia, and Jay will pull Jimmy out like Jimmy did Jay at SummerSlam, and it will WrestleMania. Like they won't fight, but they'll do this back and forth, back and forth. There'll be something in the Royal Rumble until WrestleMania. That's when you'll get that match.
Sounds pretty solid as far as a prediction goes. This guy.
Honestly, I would want it to be a Survivor Series. Like if we get a few more people, we can have a classic Survivor Series match. Team Reigns or head of the table versus Jay/Jimmy. Depends on how it goes. But I mean, they don't have enough time to build that up because we're already in September and we'll Payback, and then what's October? Have Hell in a Cell again or something like that. So I'm gonna agree with Mo Camera, and also nice to meet you, Mo. Nice to meet you, JJ.
Nice meeting you, this guy.
All right, Walter, any thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I'm with the panel. I think he comes back Rumble, and you got to do it and finish it. So,
yeah, I mean, it feels like it's not happening at Payback, and then we got Fastlane in October. Could happen in Saudi Arabia. I do think they're going to do Jimmy versus Roman. I mean, that was one of the matches I anticipated. I thought it would be Jay first, then Jimmy, then Solo. Maybe at the Royal Rumble.
Fastlane in Saudi Arabia? What's the pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia?
Crown Jewel, I think, or whatever.
Remember, I'm the same guy that suggested Jimmy was going to do what he did. Just in passing on a review weeks beforehand. Like, I don't know. I think when I speak of the Bloodline potential storylines, just be like, oh, that's a great idea. Aaron kind of scoffed over it like, it might happen. It might not. We'll see.
I'm sorry, Aaron. Sorry to cut you off, guys. Aaron, I think my phone's gonna die. Can I be in the waiting room, or am I allowed to come back?
Yeah, we'll try to get you on later. Like if Tito comes on, maybe come back in.
Yes, please. I would like to debate with Tito. Yes, please.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit, Mo. I'll swap you out.
All right.
Remember,
all right, take care.
Paul Heyman said we're only in the bottom of the third inning.
Exactly. Well, I don't know how accurate that is, but I guess time will tell on that one. All right, we're gonna bring in Mr. Dwayne Atkinson. Welcome to episode number 250. Dwayne, how's it going? Oh, you're muted too. Curse of the mutes.
Same thing.
Sorry about that. That's an old habit I have.
Botched.
Thanks again for having me, man. It only took me 250 reviews to get here. So
yeah, you've been on predictions before.
I've been on a few predictions. My first on the review though, so I'm really excited to hear what I all got to talk about tonight. So.
All right, well, we got plenty of topics. We're not even an hour in yet, so we still got a lot to go. We got a super chat about Edge, so no need to super chat about Edge. We got that question in, and we have several others. So how about we do that right now? Let's get to the Edge topic. Since typically around 53 minutes Virtue, we get into the main event.
Yeah.
53-minute mark, as we would a normal week. Let's talk about the big story over the past several days. Yes, this is a fun topic. So Virtue, you want to go ahead and introduce us and moderate this one?
Okay, so obviously Edge, he just had a match against Sheamus on SmackDown. He went over in Toronto. Very interesting. WWE usually likes to have the hometown boys lose. But it wasn't a definitive. Like, we don't really know what's going to happen with Edge. Could he just have a new contract coming up with WWE, take some time off? And these rumors come like AEW. Oh, yeah, he's going to AEW. And look, it's always a possibility with any wrestler that wants to go get money from Tony Khan. Okay? So by default, yes, that's a possibility. Edge, WWE lifer. I know Christian's over there. I ain't buying it. Everybody, let's go around the horn and get your thoughts here on the future of Edge. Okay, Dwayne, since you just joined, I will start with you. But I don't buy it at all. I'm one of those, if I see it, that's how I'm going to believe it. I ain't buying any of this rumor and hearsay stuff, especially when it comes to somebody legendary like Edge, who's always been in WWE, and we've never heard of a bad working relationship there. So what do you have to say?
I got to agree with you. I think it's just all rumors going around. Do I want him to go? Yeah, I kind of like to see him go. I want to see him, he says he wants to end his career with Christian in some sort of way. So, yes, I like to see him and Christian tag up against the Young Bucks. I like to see them against FTR for once. I mean, we've already seen Edge and Christian versus the Hardys probably 1,000 times, so we don't want to see that one again. But we could also see new dream matches that we never thought would happen, like with Edge or Edge versus Kenny Omega, perhaps. But for real, WWE's been his home. So I don't see him going at all, unless possibly Vince McMahon gives his blessing, which I kind of doubt that's going to happen. We don't want to see that happen. Nobody talked The Undertaker going there when he retired, so I don't see it happening. This is the only place he's ever been, and I don't think he's going to go anywhere else.
And, to piggyback off that, Dwayne, as I pass it over to this guy experience, like, why would he want to go over there for that drama? Like, clearly in the wrestling business, there's drama no matter where you go. But I would think it screams more so with a divided locker room that's publicly known in AEW. Why would him and his wife, they're Hall of Famers. Like, I just can't even see it. Like, if there was some bad relationship of something going on behind the scenes and like Edge was ticked off or this or that, maybe I could see it. But man, I just think this is some dirt sheets really, really going for clicks here. I don't know. What do you think, this guy experience?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say that. I mean, I pretty much agree with you on that one. But we always remember we have two former world champions that went to AEW after their contract expired, and they're both Hall of Famers: Big Show or Paul White and Mark Henry, World's Strongest Man. So I'm not going to say it's zero chance. It's always a chance, but I just highly doubt it. I mean, and on top of that, he came back how many years ago? 3-4 years ago. With a big return. That hour-long match was the greatest match of all time. And again, like you said, we never heard any bad stuff come out from the backstage about him having beef with like Vince or Shane or anybody like that. But at the same time, we didn't hear anything about Big Show and Mark. Well, excluding Mark Henry because whatever. But we didn't hear that much stuff about Big Show having beef backstage with them until after he left. But again, I would say percentage-wise, it's like 98% chance that he's not going. Maybe even 99.
Now, piggybacking off of that, as I go to JJ, Big Show was a world champion in WWE, but like, let's honestly look what they did with him overall for most of his career. It was like up and down. Mark Henry, kind of the same way. But Edge, once he broke into that main event scene, he was like Undertaker, John Cena. He became like one of their top all-time legends, and they pay those guys pretty handsomely. I can't see all the dots here connecting for Edge to go to AEW at all. Again, I can see other wrestlers and why they did it, but Edge is like one of those guys the company has always pushed hard, man. They even spent the money for his entrance theme for a license, right? I don't know. I've never known him to have a bad relationship with them. JJ?
Yeah, I mean, the more and more I think of it, the more and more I think that the odds just aren't in anyone's favor. Especially since the rumors and the reports are that, well, that was his last match, but his contract doesn't even end until the middle or end of September. Because let's be real, the only reason for Edge to even sign a couple appearance deal would be to appear at All In at Wembley. Especially with everything going on with Cash Wheeler and his arrest. And granted, his passport wasn't taken away, but will or will he not be able to still make the advertised match with the Young Bucks? Doing something last minute, ENC versus the Bucks in Wembley would be amazing. But if his contract doesn't even end until the end of September, you miss that gate in that window of opportunity. And after that, it just kind of seems pointless, in my opinion.
Okay. Who else we got next here that needs to speak on this? Walter Cruz.
Yeah, I think after everything that happened with Vince McMahon, we know never say never, but I highly doubt it. I think he's done with wrestling. He signs a legend deal so that he can use his likeness for toys and video games, etc. So he still get paid from WWE. But I can't see it. I can't see it happening.
Short and to the point. Can't see it. All right, Aaron.
I pretty much agree with everybody else. I think it's a scenario where I'll believe it when I see it. I see the obvious scenario of Edge teaming up with Christian, reuniting them in AEW. You can do a match with the Young Bucks. You can even do a match with the Hardys again. And you could even do some singles matches. Edge versus Kenny Omega might be fun. But I do expect him to stay affiliated with WWE. And I'm not exactly sold that he's done. I think this might have just been his last match in Toronto. Like, I feel Edge has one more WrestleMania match in him. Like, I could see his last match being at WrestleMania. And I think Greg brought up a good idea that maybe Edge shows up as a surprise in the Royal Rumble, and then he goes on and does one more match at WrestleMania and finishes it up at WrestleMania. Like, just doing a match in Toronto like that's a nice send-off, but part of me thinks this is all a work in some way and that Edge has already signed. It seems very un-WWE like to go out and say, oh yeah, this is his last match, his contract's up, and then give him the big fanfare only for him to just jump to AEW. Like, I feel like they wouldn't have done all that stuff unless he's signed, sealed, and delivered, and he's sticking around at least until WrestleMania.
They usually job him out. He won.
Yeah, he's always been a WWE guy. And with Christian, like, clearly he was frustrated. He went to TNA, came back, and then he was out of wrestling for several years and then went to AEW when he got that opportunity. So, Christian was not like a WWE lifer, but Edge was, and I think it will stay that way. I think Edge will, if he's done, I don't see him going to AEW. I would be surprised if that happens.
That could be like, it would take, like, anybody that's ended up over there so far, Aaron, I can't say I was super shocked. So I haven't seen anybody go over there yet where I'm like, wow, I can't believe he's over there. That's another reason why I can't believe this, because I still have not seen one person where I was shocked went to AEW.
Yeah. Well, so with Dean Ambrose, they were desperately trying to keep him. Like, he made it clear he wanted out. He did not want to be there. Edge, I think WWE's his home. He's had a tremendous career there for 25 years. And Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley did not have that longevity with the company. JJ?
And to your point, Aaron, about doing something at WrestleMania, granted, it was just an appearance, but let's not forget Edge's very first Mania was descending from the rafters in Philly as part of that Hell in a Cell match.
Good point.
So a whole full circle moment there if he has his final match officially in the same city that he had his first Mania appearance.
Well, thank you for that, Tom. That was a great topic to talk about Edge. We appreciate
this guy
that,
has
Tom.
his hand up too.
Oh, real quick, go ahead, and then we'll move on to a new topic.
I mean, virtually, like, who, I guess, legend or not from WWE that you in a million years wouldn't think would go to AEW that could, I guess, convince you that Edge could go there one day. Like, I'm thinking like Shawn Michaels or something like that. No,
I mean, it'd have to be like a Randy Orton and Edge, one of those WWE lifers that really was only ever there, and that they didn't necessarily rely on that Ring of Honor or that Impact or that type of thing. It would be one of those guys. I mean, even like somebody in the chat said Bryan Danielson. That didn't surprise me. He's a Ring of Honor guy, but long before WWE. That did not surprise me at all that he went over there. So
it would have to be
it would take Cena. One of the John Cena, Brock Lesnar. So remember earlier in the year we said Goldberg, like that type of person. It would be like, wow. But like Sting went over there, but he was not really a WWE guy ever. You can even tell those few years he was there. He's probably like, I did all this for the money.
Yeah, retirement anyway, I think.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. Here's an interesting one. We might have to think about this for a little bit. Andrew Mills sent in $5. Thank you, Andrew. Says, best WWE cliffhangers that got you excited to watch the next show the following week. I got one off the top of my head from way back, like in 1997, when Paul Bearer was out there and revealed that Undertaker has a brother. Like, that hooked me, and I was I was interested to see what the follow-up for that was. And just stuff in 97 was great. And to his credit, Vince Russo was involved in the creative process at that time. But when Steve Austin, I don't know if you guys remember this Raw, but there was a Raw where Steve Austin and Bret Hart had a street fight, and it was crazy. Like Bret Hart had to go in an ambulance, and Austin beat him up in the ambulance, and then Austin came back to the ring. Owen Hart, the British Bulldog, jumped him. And then at the very end of the show, Brian Pillman came out of nowhere and attacked Austin. Like, to me, that was one of my all-time favorite Raw endings, and that got me hooked on next week. I wanted to see the follow-up. Walter, go ahead. Tell us something.
The Brian Pillman with the gun. It hooked me. I wanted to see what was going to happen after that because it just flashed to black. And I was like, oh, my God, what just happened?
And, during the invasion, too, when Austin came out there and stunned the Alliance and you had everybody there at the end, like that was a great cliffhanger, too, for that pay-per-view. And they did one of their biggest pay-per-view buys for a non-WrestleMania show for that invasion. Of course, it went to shit after that, in my opinion, but still really good.
For me, it was when the first time Sting was like doing the crow thing, and you just didn't know what was going to happen. And they introduced that. I was really looking forward to Nitro every week because of that.
Oh yeah, like there was one time where he came out there and then like you thought he was with Hogan and Hogan hugged him and he didn't do anything. He didn't attack him.
And it's weird because we can't devalue how we felt then because of the way Starrcade 97 ended up playing out, because we were still excited that for all that led up to that, even though they dropped the ball with that, right? We were still excited for every little detail of Sting, NWO, Hogan, and all that leading up to that.
I was super excited for that whole higher power until they just screwed it up and made it Vince. But the story itself was good until they did that.
This guy Experience, what do you got for us?
All right, this is a cheesy one, but I don't care. It's the end of Smackdown when the whole show, Kurt Angle was Big Show was angry because he had lost the championship or something like that. I can't remember. It was too long ago. But anyway, at the end, Kurt Angle's right-hand man, what is his name? Bald dude, whatever. Yes, it was Luther Reigns. Okay. No, it wasn't Luther Reigns. It was definitely Luther Reigns. He was trying to like hold Big Show back, and at the end, Big Show finally got his hands on general manager or whatever Kurt Angle's role was. When he was the suit Kurt Angle, and Big Show choke slammed him off the second story in the backstage, and then they obviously they cut the camera, and at the end it showed Kurt laying down with blood coming from his head, and you're like, oh my God! And at the end, and then obviously next week we seen him in a wheelchair. Like, I mean, he's not going to survive that in real life, but yeah, I was so stoked.
Yeah, he was really hurt like around that time. He had to take some time off. Yeah, that was another memorable one. There was a comment in here about CM Punk, like the pipe bomb. I almost forgot to mention that one. Like that was the cliffhanger of all cliffhangers. There's so many of them, and as we talk about it, we'll have more come to mind. Dwayne, anything you would like to add?
I've got a few. Y'all have named pretty much everything I was going to, but another one that probably wasn't a big deal, but for me, the Y2J vignettes about him coming was one, because it makes you wonder who it was, what it was, what was it going to be. So that kind of got me invested.
Yeah, and dude, Scott Hall, WCW.
Yes.
How do we not forget that? How do we forget that one? Like that might be one of the biggest ones, and then that kept leading to the other, all the way.
Or the
Bash for the Beach.
I'm sorry about the one about the backstage brawl where they attacked the NWO attacked all the WCW guys, and the police and all that showed up. Everybody thought it was actual legit parking lot brawl or whatnot. So,
JJ, did you comment?
I didn't, but Walter said one of mine talking about the whole higher power until that got screwed up. And then Darren actually just super chatted my other one that I was going to say. The reveal was lame, but the Who ran over Stone Cold.
Yeah, well, you know what, JJ?
The build to that was great, and then the reveal was bad.
JJ, you're not the only one. Darren G sent in a very generous $10 super chat. Thank you, Darren. He says the Who ran Steve Austin over storyline hooked him in. So you guys have that in common, JJ.
And then if I can step outside of WWF for just a second, but the first episode of ECW on TNN, where Raven came back from WCW and helped Tommy Dreamer defeat the Dudleys for the tag titles, was a great cliffhanger ending as well, because you had these two guys that had such a legendary storied rivalry in ECW, and now they're tag champs together.
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty shocking moment to see Raven just jump from WCW back to ECW back in the day. Because I think he was getting a pretty decent push. Like, I think he had just formed a new faction in WCW, and then all of a sudden he was gone back in ECW. Let's see, we got a few more super chats. Well, actually, we got quite a few, so let's get to those. The Anime Gen 2.0, here we go again. SSR or Dave Meltzer for Best Wrestling Reporter News? Virtue?
Neither.
I knew you were going to say that. No, Sean.
Aaron Rift.
Aaron Rift. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Aaron's just a hub for all of those reports, but that's, at least I'd rather do it that way than
I appreciate
rely
that.
on either one of them. But like for me, it's legit sources from the actual companies.
I appreciate that.
People need to stop. They act like this is like the word of the Bible. Or
like here's the problem. Here's the problem, right? Like you can report on what you hear from wrestlers with agendas, telling you news for whatever. And Nick Hausman, we can throw him in there with their egos get ridiculous. Like they're Walter Cronkite, who the professional news journalists they never had those egos, but like these wrestling journalists think that they're with the all-time legends of news journalism, Dan Rather, all those guys, and that's just so irritating. Like nobody care. Like who cares? You report wrestling news. Like you're not a celebrity. They have meet and greets to see them. You're not the wrestlers.
Are you just jealous because you can't get people to come see you for a meet and greet?
I don't try. I have a 6-figure job because I went to a college career. I don't try to make money out of the wrestling business.
Fair enough.
Anyway. Yeah.
Thank you, Virtue. All right. We got some more wrestling topics here. Shanti is here from Hawaii. I'm still not sure. Did he say where he's coming from in Hawaii? Or where he's at?
I don't think he did. I don't think he.
He says it in the chat there. He's in Oahu.
Oh, well, I should have read before I started. I mean, it would pay to read these super chats before displaying them on the screen in case somebody sends something very inappropriate, which has happened before. So it would pay for me to actually read these before I put them up. Anyways, Shanti, you're trusted, Shanti. That's why I put it up without fully reading it. He said, can you see Macy, a.k.a. Lacey, on either Impact or AEW with a better push? WWE missed the opportunity with her, in my opinion. I'll start on this. I would be surprised if she ends up in either promotion. Like, I think she's got other things going on outside of wrestling, and I don't see Tony Khan bringing her in because she's not an internet darling. Maybe Impact, but sounds to me like she's got other stuff.
I could see her do NWA maybe because that's a very light schedule, and Billy Corgan look, he has Tyrus as their champion. So I could see that maybe, and that's all up to her. Like if she wanted to further her wrestling career.
Walter, any opinion you got on Lacey? Would you like to see her in AEW?
I would go to Impact if I was her because they can book women. They actually book women better than AEW. So if you wanna actually do something or be worth something, go to Impact.
We got some breaking news here.
Tito's coming on.
Mr. Tito is on his way, so stay tuned, everybody. Things are going to get interesting with Mr. Tito on.
Get ready. Get your super chats ready for Mr. Tito.
Tell him how much you love Triple H.
How much does the super chat have to be for him not to have a mask?
Oh, good point. You'll have to ask him when he's on. What will it take for him to take off the mask?
That ain't going to happen.
Yeah. JJ, any thoughts on Lacey Evans?
No, I'm kind of good on her, and I'm sure a lot of promotions probably are too, going back to the stuff she said earlier this year about mental illness. I don't know if they want to try to bring that drama and baggage with her by signing her in. People can change. I'll give that, but I think that may be part of what made WWE lose interest in her was those controversial comments.
And Dwayne, any thoughts on Lacey? Are you indifferent?
I kind of think she's done personally. She's got projects in mind she wants to do. Hey, more power to her. I hope. Wish her the best of luck in them.
This guy Experience, any thoughts?
I actually like Lacey Evans, and to this day, I think back 2019 when they had that rivalry with again Baron Corbin and Lacey tag teaming against the It couple. I mean, that's the wrong couple. The Man and Seth Rollins and that annoying babyface run he had. I still think they should have dropped the titles at least for like a month to both of them, and she should have had that little chance because you could have built another superstar. And they could have had it back and forth. Ronda was out for what at that time, like a year and a half, something like that. So they could have easily had a good back and forth. Sasha and Charlotte already had their thing like a couple years before that, so you could have easily built her up. But WWE Vince didn't see anything in her for some reason. I don't know why. She was pretty athletic, had a decent. The Southern Sass Bell thing was a pretty good gimmick. But yeah, as for continuing wrestling. I mean, she might be like Kelly and not talent wise, but like once you're done in WWE, you're done. You're not coming back. You're not wrestling anymore. So I could see her in the Hall of Fame in like 10, 15 years from now. But as for going to another company, no. But again, I still say 2019, they should have pulled the trigger. She should have been women's champion at least for a month, maybe 2 months, and then I mean, we would have been having a different conversation if that was the case.
I'm sorry, dude. She cannot be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I understand Coco Beware is in there, but what the hell has she done that they're gonna say Hall of Fame? Like, no.
The same thing with Kelly. Like, she didn't do much anyway. No, it's not. Why am I forgetting? Man, her dad died on TV.
Tori Wilson.
Yeah. Tori Wilson didn't do much of anything either, and she's in the Hall of Fame. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Kelly, Tori Wilson. Sorry, the blondes. I mean, whatever. Indifference. And Stacy Keibler, is she in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay. Again,
the reason why they're in the Hall of Fame. Let me explain this to you, though. Look at the time frame they were on TV. The reason why they're in the Hall of Fame is because of the ratings they brought to their quarter-hour segments.
I agree with that.
That's exactly why. Stacy Keibler. Yeah. Those were all very, very highly rated. I mean, even at one point, TNA was trying to piggyback off that with the knockouts in the early to mid 2000s, and their highest rated segments were the females. Just absolutely insane, but that's what drew back then.
Yeah, but the knockouts actually wrestled. They actually had some talent.
Yeah, but like very big sex appeal for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like she has both. She has talent and the sex appeal. So that's the only reason I'm saying she should be in the Hall of Fame 10, 15 years around. But I mean, that's me. I'm just a Lacey fan. So.
All right. Any other thoughts, Virtue? Anything you wanted to add, or are we ready to move on?
We're good. It seems like we're going to still be going for a little bit here. So.
All right. We're still waiting on Mr. Tito. So
I heard he was all good. What was that comment about? He's not in the.
He's suiting up. It takes a while.
Coming soon.
Remember, it's a full body suit. So
he might have just got ready and then said all good. So look for him soon. He's probably going to be in the waiting room soon.
All right. Building Nexus with a $2 super chat says Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns at some point in 2023. I don't think so, because I feel like Roman's going to be feuding with Solo Sikoa at some point, and Jimmy for that matter. Like, I think they're going to have a match. I just don't see Roman doing anything non-bloodline until Cody. But anybody think otherwise, that maybe Roman Reigns and Lashley will have a match? I mean,
no, because Survivor Series is usually versus the other champion, right?
If they're still doing that format. Last year they did War Games.
Man, maybe if he needed something to do with the Royal Rumble, maybe Lashley then. But think about it. They want to build Lashley up with this new group, and you don't want to just have him job to Roman like right away. So like, why don't you save Lashley for the title picture down the road when Cody needs an opponent, or wherever it lands, maybe post Roman Reigns. Like, you could wait a year for Lashley. You could have him do stuff with this group and really build it up, and then put him back in the title scene then. So I get it, though. It's a fresh match for Roman. I don't know.
I say avoid
else?
Roman at all costs because you know Roman's gonna win, and Lashley needs momentum right now. You still have to get your revenge on Lesnar.
Yeah, true. I mean, you could go that direction.
Who? Roman has to get his revenge on, or
No,
Lashley.
Lashley beat him 2-1. The last one was a nonsense finish with in the record
it
books.
was bullcrap.
Yeah, and I agree.
Roman's
I
giving
another match.
Lesnar's giving everyone in two out of 3, isn't he?
It seems that way.
All right, anybody have any other thoughts on this?
No.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, here's an interesting one. Stepdad Elijah, I like that username, sent in an AED $18 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, opinions on Gunther. What do you want to see him do after he's done with the IC title? All right, Walter, I want to start with you on this one. What's next for Gunther? Who does he drop it to, and then who does he face after that?
I'm not sure who he drops it to because they booked the Gable match too early. We know he's not going to lose it to him unless they build Gable getting a rematch. So I wouldn't mind him losing it to. But it's got to be someone young, up and coming, maybe somebody you call up from NXT so you can make a star out of him. You made that title important. You got to do it. And then I think next is the Rumble. I think he's winning the Royal Rumble and he's getting his main event shot at WrestleMania. Not sure if he wins the title immediately at his first shot. Not sure about that one, but I think he's jumping right into the main event scene. He's done everything the company has done. He's lost all the weight they asked him to weigh. He's doing everything. He's a company man. He made the title important. So I say Rumble and WrestleMania main event.
I'll help you out, Walter. And the time frame that you're saying is cool by me.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last week. Let's job out the IC title to put somebody over before you move on. I don't want to see that. I want to see him take the IC title, get his title shot, however, against Rollins, whatever, the World Heavyweight Championship, and beat him and have both titles. And then they can do the old, has to relinquish the lesser title. That will show pure dominance. And then now you got a top heel champion that you can get a baby face to chase.
Well, that's definitely a way to go. JJ, do you agree or disagree with Virtue?
I agree with that. The only other alternative that I see that would make any sense in my mind would be for him to pass the honky tonk record, come out on Raw the following week doing like a celebration with Imperium, get on the microphone and say, I've beaten everybody for this title. There's no one left for me to beat, and have Ilya Dragunov come out.
Ooh, that would be
man
interesting.
who dethroned him in NXT UK, and have him take the title off of him again.
That would be a hell of a match.
That's the only other thing that I think would make any kind of sense. But I tend to more to lead to what Virtue and Walter are saying and just have him win the Rumble, Ultimate Warrior style it, go into WrestleMania, world title versus IC title, and have him take both straps.
Versus Seth Rollins. Yeah, that would be a huge match.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I could definitely see that being a WrestleMania match, Seth Rollins versus Gunther. And Brock Lesnar versus Gunther is a match I think a lot of people want to see. That could be a WrestleMania match as well. It's just a matter of how does Gunther drop the title? Does he hold on to it? I don't see Lesnar going for the IC title, so I think Gunther would drop the title in that scenario. But yeah, one would think it would have to be either Gunther versus Rollins or Lesnar at WrestleMania. This guy experience.
All right, I have a crazy one. So I was looking at something last night, and that just got my interest. John Cena is not a Grand Slam champion, right?
Right.
Like he okay. So that being said, this one is highly unlikely in all likelihood, as you say, Aaron. But I'm saying bring John Cena back, have him beat have Gunther beat Honky Tonk's record, obviously. Make sure you have John Cena sign on a dotted line. Make sure he's good. Make sure he's ready to compete. Have Gunther say the same thing that JJ said. No one else has stopped me but this world champion. Rusev Day, blah, 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 blah. Then John Cena, and he comes at granted at this point in time, I don't think he's getting he's beating Ric Flair's fake thing, even though Ric Flair has more than that. But at this point in time, make him a Grand Slam. That's the only thing he's missing. And at that point in time, if he loses, like, it's John Cena. Like, he's WWE's superhero. Like, there's no point in saying, oh man, I lost against John Cena. At that point in time, you still have them penciled in for Seth Rollins. Have them already start their program with each other, and have like multiple branches of a storyline going at the same time. So when he drops the title to John Cena, he's like, okay, well, I mean, it's John Cena. Seth Rollins barely beat John Cena whenever they had their face off, and then you can push him to that next level, beat Seth, and then you have another main eventer. But for the love of God, don't turn to Kozlov. Like that's.
Right. We got 3 hands up. Who put their hand up first?
I think JJ did.
All right, we'll let JJ go, and then Dwayne, and then Walter.
The only problem I foresee with that is that you would immediately make Cena a uber heel. Cena would be an uber heel doing that, because even though Gunther is a heel with Imperium, he's a respected heel. People are enjoying his Intercontinental title run. John Cena come back and just yank the rug out from under him like that, immediate heel. Plus the fact that Sheamus, who's been there week in, week out, and had opportunities against Gunther, wasn't able to dethrone him to become Grand Slam champion.
Oh, true.
People are going to be pissed about that. Whereas with somebody like Ilya Dragunov, the people that know about NXT UK and know the history are going to mark and pop for it. The people that don't are going to assume that he's putting up some young up-and-comer that just got called up to the main roster. Either way, it's a good balance out there.
All right, Dwayne, anything you would like to add?
I want to piggyback off what JJ and this guy was talking about a while ago. Everybody's making it sound so predictable who they think is going to beat Gunther, but I agree on one thing. It needs to be, one, somebody that's going to elevate them up higher than they already are, and 2, it needs to be a surprise to me that nobody's going to see coming, and there's only one person I could think that could do that. And if Gunther comes out there and says he's beaten everybody, has he beaten Ludwig Kaiser yet? I could see his own person, his own friend, challenging him for it as well, because I could see a huge push coming for Ludwig Kaiser.
I've seen people on Twitter bringing that up as a possibility, that maybe this is what this is all leading to. There's going to be some kind of split, but I'm personally not a fan of them splitting up right now. I would rather see them as a group for the time being. Walter, any final thoughts, and then we're going to move on to the next topic.
I just think that if you do what this guy says, you immediately devalue the title and everything Gunther did by giving it to a part-timer. It's like, and you bring Super Cena back all of a sudden. It just, I don't see that coming. You devalue everything Gunther did.
All right, this guy,
he's been I mean, like, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, list the people that John Cena has beaten, just a whole list, and yet at the same time, like, wait a second, if this man defeated people like Taker barely back in the day, I think he cheated, so I'm still going to count that. He beat Triple H a number of times. He beat Edge a number of times. Beat Shawn Michaels a number of times. He beat CM Punk once, I want to say that part of this, but he beat The Rock once. Like, again, those type of names on his resume, you're like, okay, well, this guy's now he lost against Roman twice, but again, Roman beat some of those other people are listed. So at the same time, it evens it out. I see what you're saying because he's a part timer. I'll say if you give Cena a short program to build him back up, like, oh yeah, Cena lost those matches, he came back. Let him beat a few novice people, and I also wanted to put a troll person in there, Gabe Stevenson, but I'm joking.
I'd rather see Gunther beat Cena and get that rub rather than lose it.
Yeah,
if you're gonna do like
I agree.
Cena ain't coming back to do any of this. Well, let's stop pipe dreaming here.
No, I'm not saying he would. I'm just saying in this guy's situation, I would rather Gunther beat him than lose to him.
Yeah, I think Cena posted a picture of Gunther on his Instagram, but you know, he does those teases all the time, and half of the time they don't really go anywhere. Plus, is he really going to come back and lose again? Like, I think if Cena comes back for another match, he has to win one. He's been coming back, losing. He's got to win his next match, in my opinion. But it's not the worst idea to do at some point. Cena versus Gunther would be fun, but I'm not sure if next 6 months down the line is the right time. Maybe a year from now, different scenario with Gunther. Maybe have Cena do another match before he fights Gunther, something like that. But anyways, we're going to move on here. This guy, I appreciate you being on. We're going to let you go at this point. Thank you so much for being on. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Yes, the thing I failed to do last week. So my fiance's Facebook/Instagram. She does crochet. She does anime stuff for me. She can do almost whatever. She does pillows, blankets, and stuff like that. She made me this years ago. She has to redo it. It's a tentacle. If you know Pokemon, I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Give me 1 second. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. If anybody knows who this is, one of the best characters on Yu Yu Hakusho. So yeah, it took her like a week to get them done. So it's pretty good. But it's Heather's Crochet Corner on Facebook and Instagram. And other than that, I don't really know social media like that. So.
All right. Much love to you, this guy. You've been a big part of the chat room for years. We very much appreciate you being on. And hope you'll stick around in the chat for a little bit. It could get very interesting here in a few minutes, and you can enjoy on the sidelines. Thank you so much for tuning in. We very much appreciate you being on.
All right, peace out, guys.
All right, thank you, this
Take
guy.
it easy, this guy.
All right, guys. So now you've been waiting a long time for him, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, no DQ columnist extraordinaire, Mr. Tito in the house with new equipment. Let's see how he sounds. Mr. Tito, how's it going?
Nice
well. How is everybody today? How you doing?
We're doing good.
All right.
It's been going
9:31 p.m. We're still here.
I just want to say personal congrats to NoDQ Universe, especially old Aaron, of course, Virtue here for 250 NoDQ reviews.
Appreciate it.
Very good, nicely done. And then we got to encourage. I know we got little hints of every once in a while. Virtual says, "Well, someone else could moderate this." No, you have to keep moderating, my friend. The staple of the show is you and Aaron, and the show gets really good when you and Aaron go head to head and debate each other. That's the best part of the show. When you were asking, "What's your favorite part about the review?" It's when you two.
But it's like Roman being the champion. At some point, they got to prepare to have that next person in place.
No,
we need to start grooming somebody though.
Listen,
it could be 100 episodes later, but we need to start.
Roman's been champion for 3 years. WB's business has done nothing to go up. Keep it going up, my friend. Everyone that says, "Oh, let's end the bloodline feud early," you're a bunch of morons.
Oh,
the bloodline is raking in that money right now. Milk it until the damn thing's dry. Keep it going, baby.
All right. Well, Tito, the first topic we're going to do with you here is an interesting one. I specifically chose this one for you. Dylan Lasagna sent in $5. Thank you, Dylan. Says, who had a worse reign of terror in your opinion? Triple H, Jeff Jarrett, John Cena, or somebody else? Who or why? Mr. Tito, we'll start with you on this one. Go ahead.
Well, that's someone else. Who or why? That's like a big net. I mean, and what's John Cena have to do with it? Are we talking like as a main eventer or someone behind the scenes? What's this question mean here?
Maybe both.
I mean, John Cena's a top 5 main eventer of all time. Why would he even be in a goofy
sounds like an authority question to me.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe he means Tito, I'm thinking maybe what he means by that question. Triple H had that early 2000s dominated run. Jeff Jarrett was TNA's top guy. I know it's TNA, but and then Cena, Super Cena from 2005 on. I'm thinking that's what he means.
Let's just get to the next question. That was a bad question.
All right. Well,
anybody else?
So you have no opinion on that?
I mean, John Cena is like a top 5 superstar. Triple H is probably a top 15 superstar. Jeff Jarrett, Austin didn't want to do anything with him. That's all I got to say about that.
I'm surprised. I thought you were going to trash Triple H.
No, I mean, as a performer, he's got a great career. And I think with Triple H, here's what we got to really, really talk about here with Triple H is that if LA Knight succeeds, that's going to change the opinion a little bit of Triple H. If he can get that big main event star, which is the thing I keep telling you guys, that's what he lacks as the developmental guy. He's a good maker of tag teams. He's a good maker of women's wrestling, but he's yet to make that main event guy like Laurinaitis' FCW program and, of course, Jim Ross's OVW program. If he can manufacture a main eventer, a legit top-drawing main eventer, if LA Knight is that guy, then history is going to be rewritten a little bit here, folks. But Triple H as a performer was pretty good. Yeah, he's a little dominant during 2002, 2003. But he put over Batista. I think that's a huge thing. I mean, anytime you can create a star, that's a big thumbs up in my book here. But I think for Triple H, I'm just going to pause and wait and see how this LA Knight stuff truly works out.
Fair enough. Dwayne, anything you would like to add to that? Any opinion on this?
I mean, I agree just about everything he said, but for me, I'm going to go for a little bit. If I had to pick out the three, I'd have to go with Cena. I mean, somebody just posted down there because of a lot of the backstage stuff with Cena. Cena liked you, he'd put you over. If he didn't, you're a history.
Who do you ruin? I don't know who he ruined.
I
mean, we'll talk Alex Riley.
Yeah, I think about
not a main eventer, not even close.
So.
I mean, put over Daniel Bryan, put over AJ Styles, put over CM Punk, put over many wrestler, Kevin Owens.
I don't think he really had a problem with anybody, but that whole Mickey James and Kenny Dystra thing, maybe people think it's because of that, but that was personal relationships. That really wasn't the business.
In my opinion,
put over CM Punk.
I would say Triple H because of that 2003, 2004 era, especially 2003, like the whole Booker T storyline. And then Goldberg was the worst. Goldberg should have won that title at SummerSlam.
The Chamber. He should have won the Chamber.
Yes, 100%. Like that just ruined Goldberg at that point. Like
I don't know. Goldberg was just his match quality. I mean, he just wasn't a fully trained wrestler. Probably still isn't. But
jeez. But he's a draw. Like he drew money.
He drew money because he's a monster. I mean, that's size and look matters. He's like he's in that same box as the Ultimate Warrior here.
Yeah.
But look at those matches in 2003 with Goldberg. It's a struggle.
Well, because they tried to have him doing 20-minute matches when people just wanted to see him come out there and beat the shit out of people.
Exactly.
3-minute squash matches.
So you want him to beat The Rock in 3 minutes?
I mean, they could have done something longer than that, but I mean, the build up to that with the gold dust wig and having The Rock outsmart him, make him look like a dumbass, like that just kind of made you not care about Goldberg.
Yeah, we're not inside the ring with these guys, so who knows how difficult it really is to work with a guy like Goldberg. But I think Triple H probably a little in over his skis there. I think he was trying to climb that ladder politically backstage. But then you flip it in 2004, taps out the Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Again, 2 years later, we all know what happens there. But then a year later, what's he do for Batista?
Yep.
And then I'm pretty sure he laid his shoulders down for John Cena, right, at a WrestleMania as well. And so
WrestleMania 22.
Yeah. So I mean, is Kane an all-time great? Is Booker T an all-time great? I like Rob Van Dam, but is he like super main event level material? I mean, he had his shot in 2005 or 2006, excuse me. So the guys Triple H kind of mowed through. You look back in hindsight and think, did he really? They've really ruined anybody that could have been like a big gem, because the guys that were coming in the class of 2002 all got over. I would say maybe the one guy he really ruined was probably Randy Orton, taking that title away from him a month after Orton won it at SummerSlam, and then didn't he beat him at WrestleMania 25, I believe, in the main event?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Triple H kind of helped out Jericho. He kind of helped out Jericho too on that fake title. Remember when Jericho won on Raw, but then didn't because the Hebner came out and reversed the decision?
Yeah.
That Jericho got a good pop, and it really wasn't that much longer after that. They put both titles on Jericho. I know Triple H wasn't in that match, but look, I mean, he was out hurt and came back and beat Jericho. But yeah.
Was it Triple H that beat Shelton Benjamin in 2004 when Benjamin was kind of building up momentum?
No, he beat Triple H.
He
Benjamin
beat Triple H in his-
but then Shelton lost, and then his push was pretty much over.
There's other factors, other things going on back then.
But I just remember, like, a friend of mine at the time, like, he kind of lost interest in wrestling, and as soon as Triple H beat Shelton and Shelton lost, he's like, this is the crap why I stopped watching wrestling. Like, he just hated Triple H and how Triple H was always the focal point, and they weren't putting new people in the position. But he did put over people eventually, like you said.
To me, I always thought Jeff Jarrett was a good worker, but was he a main eventer that you went on top of your wrestling promotion? I don't quite think so. I think that was part of WCW's issue there in 99 and 2000 was pushing him as the chosen one. It was just kind of And then you get kind of an extension of that through TNA and then the Global Force wrestling mess that was after that.
That's why he had to do his own company because he wasn't really a main event.
I don't know, but somehow Jeff Jarrett keeps on ticking though, and he's still on TV. He has a long shelf life with that kind of stuff. But,
he's got a lot of knowledge.
I don't think he
he
shouldn't have ever been the focal point of a company like that. Yeah.
All right. Anybody
What else
else
we
have
got,
a comment on this? Anything they want to add?
I'm shocked that the guy, in terms of kayfabe, I'm shocked that he didn't include Hulk Hogan in those options. But because this doesn't work for me, brother.
Hey,
fair enough.
Listen, with the Hulkster, with everything in pro wrestling, especially with a wrestler that has a lot of power, there's always an enabler. If someone is giving him that power, he's going to take it, he's going to seize it, he's going to use it. And so, look what you've seen his contract from WCW. It's ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
I mean, he has 40% of the pay-per-view revenues or something goofy like that. And full creative power. I mean, he's supposed to put over Sting cleanly. That's not going to work for me, brother. I mean, that's
They literally gave him veto power. That's crazy.
And who gave him that? And who gave him that power, Tito? Who gave Hogan that power?
Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff.
Yep. And who gave Hogan the power to, only to have him win all the matches against Shawn Michaels in 2005? Again, Vince McMahon. I mean, there's always the enabler. Enablers out there, just like Tony Khan's enabling bad behavior of his EVPs. If he put on an iron fist and told those guys, hello more nards in his sack down there to put them in their places, they wouldn't have such a bad problem. But good luck to him because he signed those guys the 4-year extension. So,
by the way, Tito, I like that Tony Khan hairdo you got going on. That's great.
And by the way, and look at the t-shirt, guys. Go to NoDQ.com. It's still there in the shop, right, Aaron?
Yep.
Buy the shirt.
All right. Everybody.
All right, gentlemen. Anybody else want to talk on the Jarrett Cena Triple H thing, or are we ready to move on?
JJ.
I'm going to name someone else, and it may be a hot take here, but I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair.
Oh.
From the female perspective, I mean she's got a lot of title reigns in a fairly short period of time, less than a decade.
I mean, you figure Asuka hasn't even been the same since she lost to her.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, she's got freaking 14 title reigns, 16 if you count the NXT ones in 7 years. It took her dad 20 years to get the 16 that they recognize. I know he's got way more. We won't go down that road, but even if she eclipses the status, which it seems like she's going to, it's not going to matter because she did it in a fraction of the time.
And look, since we're talking about remember Roman being forced down everybody's throats as the baby face. Tito hated him, and he had very short title reigns. Now, I know one of them was because he had to relinquish it for being out sick, but he never really had that title for a lengthy period of time until everybody started liking his work, and now he's the dominant force of wrestling.
No.
We never had a long WWE title reign, so that's what my point is.
We didn't like Roman Reigns as a John Cena clone, pushed hard as a babyface while he was still learning and gaining more experience. What you see now is Roman Reigns is now experienced, fully experienced in the ring and working as a heel. He's working differently, working as a different angle. It works. Okay, but when you're trying to push him as a heavily scripted John Cena clone, it doesn't work. And the net result is Raw lost like 2 million viewers and audiences got thinner. But since Roman's fully experienced and being pushed the right way, attendance is going back up. Viewership is going back up. Merchandise, baby, is going through the roof again. So it's all about experience. It's all about the right character, the right push. And okay, in hindsight here, as I think about it, and I just wrote, I have a column posted there at NoDQ talking about CM Punk. And you go back and like look at 2013, and that's when Punk had his last good year, and that's when Daniel Bryan was getting his push. But WB squashed both of those guys in order to push Roman Reigns. And you think about it in hindsight here, yeah, it was a tough decision. And we had some bad years during the 2010s. But Vince McMahon picked a winner there, baby. He picked the right guy that's going to cause the business to keep growing and exploding. I mean, he's right. He just didn't use him the right way. And especially as Roman needed more in-ring experience. But now everything's clicking and it's perfect. And crap is growing. Anyone that says the bloodline should end is insane. You're not a wrestling fan. You don't appreciate the stuff that's happening right now. They're doing so much great business. And you think about the Endeavor machine is now going to plug into this crap. They're going to promote the living crap out of WWE, the bloodline. Roman's just going to become a bigger star. So in hindsight, a lot of us were like, oh man, they screwed Punk. They screwed Daniel Bryan. But Vince was right. He's painfully right back then, guys. It took years of pain to get to realize it. And I fully realize that, but you got Roman.
It was tough pushing Roman from my point of view when it wasn't looking like he was that, like he should have been that guy. I don't know what it was, Tito, gut, luck. I do remember his FCW stuff. I had actually done some homework and I looked at some of it and I was like, he's so many more layers than this Shield SWAT team guy. And I just stuck with it. And I stuck with it. And I was hoping they would take the handcuffs off and give an opportunity, put him with a Heyman, do whatever. Boy, it paid off. But man, I was sweating it for a while there.
Well Suffering Succotash did no favors for him.
No, dude, I felt so bad about that.
Well, look at a similar wrestler like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was like kind of a mid-carder mostly in WCW, as stunning Steve Austin. And then, of course, he becomes the ringmaster in WB. But you got to have those years of experience of just eating it and wanting it for a while to get, to become the superstar. All the greats have at least, 6 to 10 years of eating chow before they become the top guy. You need the experience. You need to figure out how to truly work as a professional. And then, of course, you need the right push at the right time. And it just worked out for Roman, and they're killing it now. They're killing it. They seriously are. It's there's real legitimate growth that's happening here, thanks to finally pushing Roman the correct way.
Mr. Tito, I appreciate that, sir. But Dwayne's got to go, so we're gonna let Dwayne give his plugs or say anything he's got to say. Dwayne, much appreciation and love for having you on tonight. We very much appreciate it. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
I can't thank you enough for having me, guys, and I hope to be on future reviews as well. Congratulations again on 250, and here's for another 250 more.
All right. Thank you, Dwayne. Take care. Have a great night.
Good night, guys.
We appreciate it.
Take it easy, Dwayne.
All right. And now we're going to bring on, he's been waiting for a while. He's one of the featured players on the NoDQ review and the predictions. He runs the predictions league on NoDQ.com. He is the simple man, Noah Foster, in the house. What you drinking, Noah? What you got there?
Oh, the usual, man. Classic Mountain Dew. Cheers to all of you. Congratulations, Virtue and Aaron, on 250. Mr. Tito, good to see you again. As always, Walter, just saying, JJ. Hello, NoDQ Galaxy. Again, here's to 250 and to another 250 at least. Definitely not going to stop there, I'm sure, too. Glad to be on.
Happy to have you on. And we're going to get Mo Camera back on shortly. I do want to read off a few super chats here. Psycho Jet Black, this is for Walter. Would the Book of Crews be made of hemp paper?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% obvious. And
Yeah.
Walter Cruz might as well moderate. We might as well say it now. If we get to 420, Walter's going to be the moderator, the guest moderator for that episode.
for 1 minute.
Yeah.
And Psycho Jet Black for JJ. What would you put in the Book of Williams?
Oh God, I don't even know.
Disneyland stuff.
I'm gonna steal an old wrestling quote: "Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat."
Jesse Ventura, great line there.
Some movie. You got to put movie stuff in there.
Oh, jeez.
That could be his
I'm gonna
epilogue.
put an image of Jeff Jarrett's Leatherface Championship just to get under Noah's skin.
Oh, jeez. Now, the This Guy Experience sent in $2. Thank you, Psycho Jet Black. He says, JJ, what about the Bellas? I guess as far as Reigns of Terror. Sorry, Mrs. Rift.
I'll defend
I was kind of in and out during the Bellas, like being on top as far as champions go. So I can't really speak about that era.
Tito?
I'll defend the Bellas any day of the week against anybody. They were great.
Well,
on the
Caitlin
record,
will
they were
appreciate
great.
that comment.
I mean, look what they. I mean, they're again. Everybody's focused on what they do inside the ring. Who cares what they do inside the ring? They come down, they look great. They cut promos as a team. They're twins. They drew lots of money. E Network loved them. I mean, and they wrestle at a time when there was no focus on women's inside ring, and the work ring. So I think they helped bridge the women's wrestling from the Divas era to the
absolutely
women's wrestle revolution. And don't forget who put over Charlotte Flair for her first title win.
Yeah, you can say what you want, but Nikki worked her ass off to be good in that ring.
Yeah, they both got really good. And
yeah.
All right. Well, I know Caitlin will appreciate that. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2 and says the book of Tito will be about Triple H's booking. Is that true, Tito?
His booking's fine. It's his talent development and who he has as a head trainer down at the developmental center. That's the issue, particularly to men's wrestling. That's where there's some minor issues there that I think needs amends. I mean, when you have Finn Balor as your crown jewel of your main event creation factory, that's a bit weak, Samoa Joe's good, Drew McIntyre's good, but those are veteran guys. I mean, he needs to make someone of his own. And again, if LA Knight's the guy, that's a Triple H signing. That's going to be a big for his reign here because he's made great tag teams, made great women's wrestlers. The missing link
now
is,
to be fair with LA Knight, yes, he's signed under the Triple H regime, but he's always that's been his personality and Impact and NWA.
Right.
Now he's on the bigger stage, so I feel like he's already had that type of talent.
But who called him
it's
LA
not like
Knight?
you're taking a young star, but I agree.
Who renamed him LA Knight? Who kind of gave him slightly different persona? That's under Triple H's belt, to his credit. I mean, we'll see what happens. If he falls flat on his face, my argument will still hold. I still think Laurinaitis and Ross pumped in more main eventers by far than Triple H could even think of. I mean, Ross has Orton, Lesnar, Cena, Batista, and then Laurinaitis has, good Lord, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. I mean, McIntyre signed under him. Bray Wyatt signed under him. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. I mean, FCW was pretty loaded at the time, being honest here. But the main eventers that Triple H has pushed out of NXT, you've had a couple of demotions.
Who does Cody fall under? Laurinaitis?
Yeah. Yep.
Anybody else? Noah? Just happy to be along for the ride.
You're talking about Divas or the creation factory here for main roster talent based on Triple H, who's supposed to be.
Well, you were a big NXT Triple H version guy, right? And I think what Triple H did, Ross developed main eventers, right, through OVW, like Tito said, Laurinaitis. I think Triple H, what he did is he brought that indie influx in, and I know that's what you love. Now, I'm not starting an argument here, but that's not going to sell to the masses. That's going to sell to the diehard wrestling fans. That's what I feel Triple H has done. He hasn't appealed to casual fans main events. He's only appealed to the indie fan main events. So what would you have to say, Noah, to that?
I think there is some truth to that when you consider, again, the type of talent he brought in and out of Impact and previous developmental territories, even across the UK. I mean, you look at the current NXT landscape, a lot of what he was trying to build out of NXT UK that fell flat with the idea of NXT Europe. That's basically kind of the scene of this current NXT with the likes of Ilya Dragunov. So right now seems to be probably, I would think, his biggest marquee player he might be trying to push. Whether or not they join within Imperium is a whole different sort. I do think before this whole no program initiation came into play, he was focusing on trying to recreate the wheel, but not from the ground up with raw materials. He had like materials that already came into play based on primary talent that basically made their way. So yeah, there was a different scope, I think, for NXT's vision of the industry that he wanted to grow and the eyes he wanted to focus on versus definitely Vince McMahon's global aspect where he reaches out to everybody. It's almost like channel surfing versus focusing on a primary streaming service. Why Disney Plus is focused primarily on everything underneath the Disney umbrella. You got cable and satellite that gives you everything. You might have a la carte 240 channels, but you might watch less than 20. It still caters to everybody. So yeah, I do think there's some truth to Triple H may have a smaller vision for a status quo and an eyes he wants to reach out for. But now that he basically is in a bigger spot, unless the reports are true about him moving his spot from the board of directors, and Vince still guiding, of course, everything from the marketing side of things, I think it's still, again, add more to the top.
Tito, you got to add, so you bring up LA Knight. Do we got to put Gunther in there too?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that when he just mentioned international. So, yeah. I mean,
definitely.
And I think too with Triple H, like he's a much nicer guy compared to maybe how it was ran before. I mean, they ran those previous territories with an iron fist. I mean, you had Cornette MFing you sometimes, slapping you if you were laughing at things. So I mean, like, I'm very encouraged by Triple H's like push with the NIL stuff. That could get interesting because that's what Ross did. He was scouting college athletes and converting them into wrestlers. You're looking at, of course, Benjamin and Lesnar. They were amateur wrestlers, and they converted them into pro wrestlers. And maybe that's kind of the secret sauce of the OVW experience because they didn't quite pull someone from an indie promotion and convert them into a WWE wrestler. They took an athlete that had that natural charisma but amazing athleticism and turned them into a wrestler and thereby a big star.
All right, we got some comments here. Walter, we'll go with you first, and then JJ.
I just want to say I think it's a bit unfair to really criticize Triple H right now because we don't have a large enough sample size. I think we got to give him at least maybe 5, 10, 15 years to see how he runs the company. But
10 years.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as a header.
10 years. June 2012 was when he took over the talent relations. Then he lost it in early 2020, and then he got it back last year.
But in terms of full-blown booking and everything, and not so much with Vince pulling strings, and who knows, he probably still is pulling strings no matter what. But I think you just got to give a bigger sample size and let's see how things are falling. Because it's hard to critique it as it's happening, because there's things you don't like. Like, it's better like later on the line where it's the past tense and you can talk about it. To criticize it as it's happening is a little unfair for him.
Well, my criticisms have been primarily on talent development, but I'll say this in terms of on creative, adding Sami Zayn to the bloodline was killer. I mean, that pumped some real juice into that group. It was getting a little dry. I mean, sometimes it does, but he kind of put a lot more emotion into it. And this whole divide between, Roman versus the Usos, it started over feelings over Sami. And it's been great since Sami joined that group. So I have no real issues with Triple H and creatively. It's just talent development. He just hasn't pumped out the sheer amount of main eventers as the prior two guys did. That's my main argument. Nothing more than that.
I hear you.
JJ, anything you would like to add, and then we're going to move on to the next topic.
I was going to ask about the women. I mean, Zoe Stark just got called up to the main roster. She seems to be doing pretty well with Trish Stratus. Granted, we got to wait for her to break away from Trish to really see if she sinks or swims. But I think she's doing some great stuff right now.
Yeah.
And then you've definitely got Roxanne Perez still kind of like waiting in the weeds in NXT. You know her time is coming. TikTok cross style. Probably by Mania next year, she'll be on the main roster.
Yep. Well, I said he's great at developing tag teams and women's wrestling. I mean, I love Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. I mean, they're two of my more favorite additions to the roster. They're so different and unique, and just strong as hell, and very talented, beautiful ladies, great personality. I mean, the other day I got to download Bianca Belair for Fortnite, and I'm running around the fields blowing kids away with her right now.
Nice.
So she's just cool. They're just cool as hell, and that's the advantage of maybe not having successful professional sports for women, is that WB's want to have a good pick of the litter here of the top female athletes, and WB pays more than WNBA and all these other pro sports leagues. So they're always going to be ripe with talent flowing through that performance center. And you got a great trainer there. What's her name? Del Rey, I believe.
Sarah Del Rey.
Yeah, she's amazing. I mean, she's great. And I think Soraya, but she used to be Paige. She kind of set the tone, and everybody's kind of followed it and followed that training technique. And they're just, the women's side's great. They can put up good tag teams. You gotta show me something on the main event, guy. That's all I'm asking.
That's fair.
I'll give you more flowers, Trips, if you just show me some main eventers, dog.
All right, there you go. Tito's on a roll tonight. All right, Walter, you've been on for 2 hours now. I'm going to let you go because we have somebody in the waiting room. Tito has been talking a lot, and he's probably going to be talking even more. So we need to get rid of one talker, unfortunately. Walter, we love you, man. You've been a big part of the NoDQ review. We're very grateful for having you on. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Always thank you for having me on. Just follow me on X at Walter Alexis Cruz. You got Instagram there with the Cow Fire Farms. We also have Cow Fire Farms, which is about organic fruits and vegetables, which is sponsoring a wrestling event coming I believe August 23rd. It's Saturday for a family friends night. It's free, but there'll be a lot of vendors for food and things. So come out and have a good time for that. If you're there in Connecticut, it'll be in Portland, Connecticut. So that's it, and I'll be back in the waiting room and see if there's any chance to come back or anything. So
all right, sounds good, Walter. We'll see you soon. Hopefully, maybe.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So that's Walter Cruz. We got a lot of super chats here, so we're going to try to get to those so we can get done before midnight, if possible. Time will tell on that. But first, Mr. Tito, he's been wanting to be on with you.
Oh, he was on. He was here on the 200 with me though, so been there, done that. So no big deal.
Part 2 here.
No big deal, Mo.
Mo Camera has returned to the NoDQ review. He's back home now.
I think you should put these two next to each other.
Yes, home sweet home. I just escaped a Hurricane Helmsley.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. I see what you did there. All right, guys. We got some super chats here. Gomer Kyle sent in $5. Thank you, Gomer. And you guys here in the panel can think about your answer. We know my favorite entrance music, which is, I guess, Stone Cold. His is Stone Cold as well. He wants to know your number one music entrance. Number one. So, JJ, I'm putting you on the spot. You're first.
You suck, Aaron. Coming to me first.
Yeah. Gave you 10 seconds to think about it. I have so many
to pick from. I'm gonna say The Brood.
All right, The Brood. Virtue, if you're going on your Spotify or whatever you use, what's the first wrestling song you're going to?
I mean, after all these years, even despite the last 5 that have been very disappointing, Break the Walls Down, Chris Jericho, still my favorite theme song.
Good choice. Mo Camera, what do you got for us?
So when you talk about just strictly theme song, my 2 personal favorite, one of them actually gives me goosebumps, is Drew McIntyre's, what is it called?
Broken Dreams.
Yes. And my first one, well, it's a toss-up, but the other one is Chris Benoit's theme song.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Wow. You went there.
Yeah.
That one.
Said the B word on the No DQ review.
He did.
Yeah. Hey, Chris Benoit is a draw, so I don't know.
Oh,
there you go. Noah Foster, what do you got for us?
There's a couple, but I'll just go off the top of my head and keep it simple as I usually do. Randy Orton, Burning My Light.
Oh, wow.
Is that his first theme song? That's his
Yeah.
first one, right? Oh, yeah, I love that one. I love that one.
All right, Tito, you've been watching for a very long time. Do you have a number one?
There's two. I'd say there's two bangers I always play on my iPhone, and I would say the NWO theme. I'm always weak to that. But I tell you, 3-6 Mafia's Mark Henry theme is badass.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
I mean, that is killer. And I mean, that one gives me legit goosebumps, and that gets turned up as far as I can go every time I hear it. I mean, it's just such a great song, but it was great when it was for him. You know, it was kind of when he figured out how to work and got out of the OVW system and kind of unleashed. And he was just a total badass on the roster for a while. And that music just fits so well. So yeah.
Yeah, great choice there. I mean, that's
I got a guilty pleasure one, Aaron.
Go ahead.
And there's no lyrics in it, but like when I hear it, I and more so probably 10 years ago than now, Brock Lesnar. Something about Brock Lesnar's theme, man. When I hear it, I just know that's for a reason. He's there. That's my guilty pleasure, Brock Lesnar.
Good choice.
Can I say one other one? Because I've got one that I feel is like criminally underrated that I think just really needs to get a lot more love.
Evil or
Maven's theme.
The Tough Enough theme?
Yeah, when he first came out, the Around the Stars.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I always thought that song was criminally underrated. The way the guitars kick in the beginning, and then especially if you dissect the lyrics for this young kid that came up through this, contest, really.
I tell you what's really important, and I think Virtue was touching on it. It's how your music starts. Like you hear that guitar riff on Lesnar's thing, crap is going down. Or you hear the glass shattering.
Yeah.
You hear that car wreck of Razor Ramon's music. I mean, stuff's coming down that aisle when you hear that initial tone. Yep.
Not too many from these days, unfortunately, but we had some great ones over the years for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of you had that first WB theme music CD, like the volume 1?
I did.
The Full Metal.
I still have it.
Yeah. Oh, that thing was just pure bangers. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, that came out 1995.
95.
So if you're playing like CDs, you had to hold the CD player because you didn't want it to skip. Because the last thing you want to do is you're just banging Razor Ramon's theme down the road in your horrible car that you had at the time and having it skip. So you held that CD player in your hand while you're driving with the other arm. So good times, man.
There you go.
Well, to date myself, I remember I would play the wrestling album from 1985, although this was probably early 90s. Like my parents had the record player and I would play that. My dad had all the albums, like Pile Driver. He had everything. So I would listen to those albums on record, like in the early 90s as a kid.
That's early. Tito was the one you're talking about, the one that had Psycho Sid on it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that theme.
I played that one more than any of the other ones. That was the one.
Gold Dust.
I loved Psycho Sid.
Gold Dust. Yes.
Yep. I mean, these companies don't realize how much money they're dropping off the table by not having good theme music. That stuff matters. It's about presentation, and all your top stars back then had the best music. And, we all remember like Chris Jericho has always had great music. You hear that countdown, something's going down. Yeah. And he was always over in WB for that. So, I mean, great music matters. What they're doing now is atrocity. I mean, both promotions have terrible theme music and they're taking it for granted.
I don't know. The Bloodline.
City by the Bay.
Did it right with CFO.
In the chat, City by the Bay said to me, does MJF need better theme? Absolutely. Yeah. I just can't resonate. Like it's okay because I know it's him, but like his theme sucks. He needs something. Wow. He needs a banger.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna move on here. We got a few more, quite a few super chats here. The Anime Gen 2.0 says, Aaron, can you stop reposting any Dave Meltz news? No, I cannot. Sorry.
As long as
I just like to see people get pissed off because they don't like reading Dave's recaps or predictions or speculation. And
he's an insider.
Star
You got
ratings.
You have to post it.
It's just a fan's opinion. That's
sometimes
all
though, the problem with him, Aaron, is when I'm reading his words, his transcript, like it's annoying because the way he talks, he stutters and and he writes that same way. I don't know. It's annoying.
It's just funny. Like people get so mad about it, and I get entertained because people shit on him so much. I don't really think it's justified, but people hate on the guy, and I get entertainment out of it.
I mean,
well, again, Aaron, it's his ego. It's his ego. Like you see how he handles himself on Twitter. He's supposed to be a journalist, but he's playing a character. That'd be like me, right? But it is what it is. I'm not trying to be a journalist. That's the problem with these guys, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, you got to post it. He still talks to sources, even if he's biased in the way he now reports it. But he's still talking to sources, and you got to post it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
but
he is the leader in the industry.
Yeah, he's like the Fox News of wrestling news thing now. So.
All right, this guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. He was on earlier. Shout out. Says, last one, then I'm out. Best Raw and SmackDown stage. So again, everybody can think about it. Well, Noah's already got his answer. SmackDown with the Fist. Is everybody going to say the Fist?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yep.
I like the oval though. The oval was pretty cool that they had before that Fist, I believe. Wasn't that?
Yeah, the little Titantron screen, like during the what was it, the invasion angle where Ronald gored Jericho through, and we just saw that was just literally a screen that they just basically fell over with a projector behind it. I know what you're talking about. The early days.
I like for Raw. For Raw, I like the original Titantron, where it was kind of dark, but they just started the ramp. That original Titantron with the big metal whatever
big
around
metal
it.
bordered. It was also a perfect square, I think, because you notice in the later sets it kind of like turned into a rhombus, had that angle.
Yeah, I hated that. I hated that one.
I didn't understand why they made that change.
All right, so everyone's pretty much in agreement on those. Yeah, I love the old school Monday Night Raw early. Like I feel like they kept adding on to it, and it became a bit much towards the end of the run of that stage, like 2001, around that time. But yeah, the 1997, it was very gritty, the original Titantron and basic. I liked it. And I have fond memories of those shows during that period. So that
I love seeing DX's thing on the original Tron. Like, are you ready?
No, I agree. That was a simple but effective stage, and it became a staple in wrestling with the Titantron. WCW had a Titantron. Every promotion had the big giant screen. WWE started
traditional sets in a superstar's presentation and a product. That was the golden age.
Psycho Jet Black has a comment here for Mo. Will the Book of Camera acknowledge Roman Reigns?
When it rains, it bores.
Jeez.
You're out.
Oh boy, here we go.
I like seeing the Marks cry. Oh, cry.
Hey,
you guys like calling me a Mark? Well, you guys are Mark too for liking Roman and Cena.
The problem is it's not Mark. Like Roman Reigns has like broad appeal. Okay, so like, what do you mean the Marks cry? You mean the casual fans?
Yeah, well, they're stalkers too. They create like hundreds of fan pages for Roman. We worship Roman. People in India literally worship this guy, like, because they think kayfabe is real.
Listen, Mo. SmackDown is like pushing above 2.5 million viewers right now. I mean, it might hit 3, depending on how things go here. Attendance has been up. Merchandise is through the roof right now. Years of merchandise going down, and thanks to the Bloodline, they've gone up. Oh yeah, Roman's such a bore. Yeah, we'll just buy merchandise for the hell of it. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. No, he's drawing, buddy, and it's interesting too. I know you like your little AEW land, but they only do 800,000.
I don't like AEW either.
They're terrible. Okay, Bloodline is drawing, whether you like it or you don't like it.
LA Knight is drawing because people in AEW are people. The fans at AEW, they're holding up the Yap posters. This guy's over as hell. More over than Roman.
Really?
Yeah, LA Knight, yeah.
Really?
Even in AEW, the fans are chanting, yeah, when somebody talks.
A crowd pop doesn't mean you're more over, but
No. Yeah, he's not just riding on their coattails or anything.
Man.
You know, the bloodline made the product grow, and now here's LA Knight just joining along the bandwagon here. Yeah, it's just like Goldberg being a big draw in '98, following the great NWO empire. Oh yeah, he's a huge draw.
Oh jeez. Well, speaking of AEW, let's get to this, but real quick. First of all, Mike Anderson sent in $2. He just said, "Oh hell yeah, Stone Cold." I'm not sure if he's listing off one of Austin's theme songs or not. I think he is, but yeah,
he is. He's on the theme song topic here. I recognize that.
Yeah, so that's another quality song. Austin had a lot of good variations of his theme song over the years. Now, speaking of AEW, since you guys were kind of talking about that a little bit, Rage of Wrestling sent in $2. That's Walter Cruz. He said, "Who did AEW botch the worst?" We'll go around again. Everybody can name their person. I think everybody knows my answer. I say Wardlow. I think that guy should have been the one to be built towards beating MJF for the title, but Wardlow's nowhere to be found right now. Virtue, I'm going to throw it over to you now.
CM Punk.
Oh wow, CM Punk.
Tony Khan botched CM Punk. Granted, it's still CM Punk, so he's had, he's still created CM Punk memories. But I mean, come on, look at the overall what could have been and where we're at.
All right, Noah, who would you say?
I kind of agree with you. I thought Wardlow was on his way to at least being part of the world title picture. You would think that the TNT title would be like a catapult, but it wasn't. He ended up being stuck in a mid-card vortex to the point now he might literally be sucked out of our existence. Wardlow, he had the build. He had a little bit of character after the sit-down with JR. He had potential. I felt like they could have done something with him because AEW, I was expecting an original build, not riding off somebody that had an established name in another company, with all due respect, because I think they need to try and do something organic from the ground up while also still utilizing talent that's recognized. That's why they kicked things off with Chris Jericho for a purpose. I definitely say Wardlow is one of the biggest botches this company has done for quite a while.
Mo Camera, what do you think?
Man, Luchasaurus. Man, this guy is like a monster, and he's like jobbing out to Anorexic Jungle Boy, Wardlow, Cody Rhodes. They booked him into a corner. Oh, you can't fight for the world title. Come on, man.
Anorexic Jungle Boy, but yet maybe I heard incorrectly. You're a proponent of Adam Cole, though?
Like I said before, Adam Cole's the main eventer in any promotion because this guy can cut promos. He has charisma, and he can wrestle his ass off. That's all you need in 2023. If you need people who need to be on steroids, you need to.
I didn't say steroids. Put in the work is what I said.
Get on that old day, new day time machine. Go back to the 1960s.
I don't want to see fans wrestle. I want to see superstars wrestle. I don't want to see a fan from the other side of the guardrail that looks like me in the main event.
We have to agree to disagree.
Let me give my guys.
Go ahead, Tito.
Good Lord. With Wardlow, he beat MJF and it didn't matter. That's all you need to know. He's AEW's version of Andrew Martin. God bless him. He's gone from the planet, but he's their test. He's a big, strong dude, but what else do you bring to the table? Can you cut promos? Where's your personality at? Where's that? And maybe we're still early in the game. Again, as we're talking about with Roman, he might need more experience in order to become a great main eventer. Or maybe he needs to go WB and they'll treat him differently. But the guy I think that they botched was Miro. That's the biggest one. He came in as the best man for Sammy Guevara's wedding or whatever angle.
It was Kid Saban.
I can't tell them apart. I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine, Tito.
But like they're just 200-pound guys. It's hard to tell them apart at times. I gotta admit it's my fault. But like Miro should have been just a monster, just come in there and destroy everybody because he's legitimately badass. Instead, he comes out with a pink Mickey Mouse shirt and he's the best man in a wedding, and it just never went anywhere. They pushed him okay for a little bit, but then it just kind of flopped. That should have been their big signing. That should have been it, and they threw it away.
No,
and maybe it's because the COVID year he arrived, and maybe that's what made it kind of.
I think it was COVID,
but that should have been the guy. and they dropped the ball hard. I think CM Punk, I think Father Time, and you'll see it in my column posted on NoDQ.com. I think Father Time is caught up to CM Punk. His beginning was perfect. It was great, but his in-ring work looked like he hasn't altered it based on his age. He's still trying to be the high-risk version of CM Punk, but he's 10 years older. He shouldn't be doing those kind of moves. He should change his finisher, get rid of the GTS, go to something like, remember how Jericho switched to the Judas effect?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's smart, because he's like, I can't lift these guys. I can't hop like I used to. So I'll do a simple move that doesn't take much energy or effort to do. That's what Punk,
Punk has a submission,
Yeah.
And Anaconda Vice.
Hey guys, not to go into a whole other topic, but with CM Punk, it almost feels like he's a nostalgia act at this point. Like he hasn't really done anything different since he started in AEW. I want to see a different side of CM Punk. Like guys such as Edge and Undertaker and Chris Jericho, they've all made changes to their characters. And when things were starting to get stale, they changed their hair, they changed their attire, they changed their demeanor, their mannerisms, their in-ring style, their finishers, as you mentioned. CM Punk just feels like the same CM Punk that was around 10 years ago. And I feel like we need something different with him.
I think he hurt his brand severely with that media scrum stuff, though. That just can agree. You can agree with, that the Young Bucks and the Elite, they're a bunch of dirt sheet trolls. We can agree on that part. But he did a full-fledged attack on his entire company for the whole world to see. And instead of handling it beyond closed doors like men, he just shredded that whole company. And now he's coming back to it as if he said none of that. I don't think he's ever going to succeed now that, as the damage after that still is there.
And part of it too, I think, was how he was booked in AEW in the beginning, because they took so long to get him in there with guys like MJF and Adam Page. Like for the longest time, he was doing matches with like Daniel Garcia. Imagine Hulk Hogan going to WCW and he starts having matches with the bottom of the barrel guys there.
Wasn't that his choice though? I thought that was his. Yeah, I thought he chose to do that though. I don't think it was.
Yeah. But I think he should have been in there right with the top guys from the get-go, I think.
He literally started out with Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Tito, Punk should have did what Brock Lesnar does. Professional in front of the camera, but if he's pissed about something, he's going to say it right in their face when the cameras are off.
Yep.
Until it's heard. That's probably what Punk should have done.
Yep. And I think it follows his famous Colt Cabana November 2014 shoot, and he did that on camera. So now you've got a pattern of behavior here, and I think it's caused some valid mistrust amongst wrestling fans, and I think it's hurt his brand big time. I don't see him unless he does some major changes, as Aaron was suggesting here. I don't, and kind of evolves a little bit now. He's a little older. I think he's just going to be around like a nostalgia act, as you said, on Saturday nights.
Yeah, they're not doing great numbers either. But JJ, anything you would like to add to this? And by the way, Walter did want to make it clear that it was both AEW originals and people they signed from WWE. So you could say either or. So go ahead, JJ. Anything you would like to add, and then we'll move to the next topic.
Well, I definitely agree with Wardlow, and I know it's going to be a little bit of a hot take here, and I know the person underneath me will roll his eyes, but I kind of think they've botched Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Yeah. I think there's a couple of opportunities where they really could have taken advantage, putting the tag straps on them to help get the younger tag teams that they've got in the company over. You're not going to look to them to be main eventers. You're not going to look to them to be world champion or TNT champions, but them as a tag team, getting guys like the Gun Club, FTR, Bullet Club Gold over in the tag division, I think is great name recognition, because people, the casual fans, are going to see Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett are champions in 2023. I know those guys. What's this show?
Do they really know these guys, though?
Well, they might know Jeff Jarrett and nothing else.
I think they do more than people give them credit for.
I don't think any random person on the street will know who Jay Lethal is. Maybe a few might know Jeff Jarrett, but not
Mo,
too many.
do that thing with your finger one more time. You had one finger up. Now go a little higher.
A little higher. That didn't fall for it, Virtue.
Good try, Virtue. Good try.
Let's keep the same energy with WWE. Vince McMahon destroyed NXT Black and Gold. He destroyed Bray Wyatt. He destroyed Rusev. What the hell is he doing with LA Knight? So if you guys want to just talk shit about AEW, let's keep the same energy with WWE. Like, come on, LA Knight now? Is that the next person that Vince is going to sabotage because that wasn't its creation? He's not getting, you know what I mean?
Before Tito goes off on you, Mo, Vince he bought the WWF from his dad for $1 million, and he was able to make $9 billion out of it by a merger with Endeavor. So I don't know. Go ahead. Were you going to go off on Mo right there? I couldn't tell.
Well, the NXT Black and Gold, didn't it fail to beat AEW? They beat him one time.
Pretty much once they went to the network, it was pretty much dead on arrival, Mr. Tito.
It didn't do too well. And you want to get into the Bray Wyatt debate? Let's do that one. You'll get crushed on that because The Fiend was a disaster. It was a ratings disaster. It lost viewership. You also have how was Roy? Did you like Royal Rumble 2023, Mo Camera? Did you like that? Did you like that
2023?
Yeah. Did you like that match against LA Knight when Uncle Howdy appeared at the end of it and missed by 5 feet? Did you like that? Was that great wrestling? Or how about the WrestleMania a couple years before that when you had Alexa Bliss and black stuff coming out of her against Randy Orton? Did you like that? Great.
That was during the pandemic, and that was Vince.
That was the year after the pandemic when there was live fans in there. I'm sorry, you've got that wrong. The pandemic was the John Cena match. That was the John Cena match. Remember that great segment where you had all these weird things happening? That was great.
Well, maybe how about John Cena? Maybe John Cena didn't want to put him over. Maybe that's why. Maybe John Cena didn't want to put him over.
He lost the match to him. He lost in that match. He didn't want to put him over. He lost that match. What more do you want?
Well, NXT was a failure because Vince took it over, and it was during COVID.
No, he didn't. Vince and
2020
Richard didn't take it over until the reboot happened in was later in 2020. But they came on in 2019 and got their butts whipped regularly against a bad AEW that was featuring the Nightmare Collective and the goofy guys with all the masks all the time. Yeah, good old 950,000 drawing fans against NXT's 600,000. That's
Vito's broken.
All right, well, let's talk about. Sorry, Aaron, am I allowed to talk for 30 seconds? I just need 30 seconds.
I know.
Well, let's talk about Vince McMahon's accomplishments. Owen Hart and how he had
40 years of
Owen Hart. Can I go real quick?
Good.
Let's talk about Vince McMahon's accomplishments. The Owen Hart, how he handled it, the show must go on, the steroid allegation, the rape allegation, and how he continually has to, and how he conveniently has to go get spinal surgery to avoid this lawsuit. The infamous Jimmy Superfly Snuka briefcase scandal, the steroid, the exploitation of Roman's leukemia to get him over. He's a racist, and how he destroyed the NXT Black and Gold and gave Triple H a heart attack.
Hey, I'm curious, Mo. When was the last time you watched WB on television?
I don't have 3 hours to waste. I just watched the highlights.
No, when was the last time? Can you tell me the last time?
A WWE show or pay-per-view?
Either way. When was the last time you watched their show?
Was it SummerSlam?
Okay, so obviously you didn't have a problem with all those incidents with Vince McMahon. You still watched. How about that, hypocrite? You give me a whole list of bad things that Vince ever did. You still watched his stuff. You're still a paying customer, fool.
No, I'm not. I pirated.
No. You're still spending time to watch his.
He pirated Peacock.
Busted, buddy. Busted.
Marks for Vince McMahon, a guy who's a racist.
You're still watching his stuff.
Owen Hart.
You're
the
still
show
watching his
must go
stuff.
on.
He killed
Who does
Owen, and
that?
you're still
Can
watching
you
his
imagine
stuff.
if Tony Khan killed like Orange Cassidy? Like, the show must go on. I guarantee you,
You're
Marks
still
would be like,
watching him.
this guy's a bad guy. This guy's a bad
You're
guy.
still,
Can you imagine
you're
if
still
Tony Khan
watching
did the
his
same
products. You're still consuming his products. Yet he did all these
thing? Yeah,
bad
but
things.
the guy's Hitler. He's a modern day. Let's call a spade a spade.
You're still
He's
watching
He's
him. You're
Hitler.
still watching this racist Hitler
Like
stuff.
who tells somebody to tell Booker T you can't be champion because
You're
you're
still
black?
watching, buddy. Why didn't you did a complete boycott if you have such a problem with Vince McMahon on this stuff? I don't think so.
Because
buddy.
I know his days are numbered.
No.
His days are numbered. He's either gonna die or go under the jail. His days are numbered, man. I hope Triple H takes over. Because this idiot is gonna drop the ball with LA Knight. I get watch in 6 months. You guys are gonna be here crying. LA Knight, what happened to him? Vince McMahon happened to him. That's what.
The Mr. McMahon character transcends into the future.
All he cares about is
forever.
Roman. Hey, listen,
February
Roman, if
20th,
you're watching,
2024.
hey, listen, Roman Reigns, if you're watching, which you're probably not, you owe your whole life to Vince McMahon. If it wasn't for that stubborn mother effer, you would be working at Chick-fil-A right now. That's right. I promise you.
Wow.
Vince McMahon. That's why Roman Reigns is
Wow.
because of Vince McMahon's stubbornness.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, then.
Let's give JJ a chance to talk.
I'm scared to say something here for real because
Yeah.
this has gotten way too intense. But I do have a couple points I want to bring up just to play devil's advocate here to Mo, because I completely see and for the most part agree to a certain extent with what you said. However, did Tony Khan not make money off of Owen Hart now for 2 years with the Owen tournament? And let me ask you this. If Tony Khan is such a great performer, why didn't he either fire the Elite and Punk after Brawl Out or force them to make money on the situation?
Yep.
JJ, to answer your question, he's playing chess, not checkers. He doesn't want to just he doesn't want to do it right now. The match between CM Punk and what's the other guy's name?
Kenny Omega.
AEW fan.
Yes. You don't want to just it's anti. No, you know what I'm saying. Like, imagine if it happened right now. What else are we gonna look forward to? What else? Like, so maybe it's gonna happen at Revolution. You have to let it like marinate. You don't want to just give it. You don't want to just give the fans what they want right away. Then we'll have nothing to look forward to. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to give the fans a major match of that level with the biggest show in wrestling history a week away
Mm-hmm.
in front of 80,000 plus fans.
In Wembley Stadium, in the UK.
You
First
don't
time
want to
ever.
do
point,
CM.
JJ, you
You
have a
don't want to
point,
do
but-
CM FTR versus the Elite, and then you can splinter that off. Come All Out.
You do have a point, but sometimes you just have to slow cook stuff. You can't just like how fans wanted Sami Zayn to win the WWE title, or Cody Rhodes, or who else? Jey Uso. Can you imagine if those possibilities happened? We would not look forward. Roman Reigns wouldn't be as interesting. Roman Reigns needs to be.
Did you just say Roman Reigns is interesting? Basically, right there, he did, didn't he?
Yes,
He did, and I agree.
Look,
with
I'm looking.
and
I like the bloodline storyline, but it wouldn't work without Roman
No.
Reigns being the
You
champion.
like the Bloodline storyline? Oh, that's
I-
not what we've heard all night, Mo. Come
You
on.
gotta give
and
credit to
I
everyone,
agree with
though.
you, and I still hold true to the belief, and maybe I'm crazy here, that had Cody not missed half a year because of that torn pectoral, he would have beaten Roman at WrestleMania.
I
It just
actually
didn't
prefer
make
Roman
sense.
to hold the title for
It
more,
didn't
for
make
longer.
sense.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense for him to be out of action 6 months, win a Rumble, and then win a title.
But
The
JJ
title.
and Virtue, you
So
might
that's
like
the
what I'm
only
about to
reason
say
they're
right
running
now.
it back.
You're right.
You
I
want
actually
Roman to have it longer?
Roman.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. You know why, Virtue? The longer
Okay.
this guy holds the title for another year or even 2 years, the pop is going to be insane for whoever wins that title. It's going to be even huge. The
And it
longer
gives
he
them
holds that
more
title,
time to put it on the right guy.
Yep.
yeah.
And it
Yep.
could be Cody, right? I mean, right now we're thinking Cody. Nobody else has supplanted him as the guy that makes sense to beat him, but somebody better could come along. We don't know.
In a perfect world, I would
What if
have
LA
Bray
Knight
Wyatt, but
gets
I'll book
uber
Bray
over,
Wyatt
like
really good.
ridiculous over? he could jump the shark and get it before Cody. We don't know.
You never know. That's why you have to wait.
All right, guys. I think we should try to move forward here. We do have some more super chats. That was quite intense. We might have more to come before this is over.
Sorry, Aaron. I was holding that in for like a year. I had a mental breakdown.
I know. Well, this
I'm
was
tired of people
two.
kissing up to Vince. Vince McMahon is Hitler, bro.
No,
Like, come
nobody's.
on, look what he did to Owen Hart. The show must go on.
Nobody's kissing up the Vince here. I have 20 years of columns. They've just shred that man for a long time.
Okay,
I took
and like,
2 years
let's
off.
stop this.
Well, hold on. Let me make this major point.
Yeah, no, you go first.
This is how we went to 4.5 hours last time.
Yeah, Aaron, you're not getting sleep tonight at this point.
Okay, so when Chris Benoit did his thing and the steroids are found through his house, I had enough. I cold turkey boycotted them for 2 years. I had such a problem with the drug culture that was in that promotion. Then once I kind of started hearing some things about the wellness program, everything going on, I was like, okay, I'll start giving a little bit of a chance. Okay, so if Vince McMahon is doing these such bad atrocities and you have a problem with it, then take a bigger stand. And I don't care you say, I'm pirating. You're still spending your time. Time is money, my friend. You're dedicating.
I did take a break for 4
product.
years. I did take a break during John Cena. I had enough with John Cena. But when Daniel Bryan was getting red hot in 2014, that's when I started watching again. But I didn't watch from 2010 to like 2013. I didn't.
See, and I stopped watching for almost 10 years myself. I stopped around the summer of 2014, and I just came back full time around Rumble of last year.
Yeah,
right.
All right, guys.
I took a good hiatus myself.
Stop saying that Vince McMahon killed Owen. Nobody killed Owen Hart. It was an accident. They had the team that would work with Sting in WCW. It was the same company. Like it was.
There was negligence there, though. There's a little bit of negligence on who they hired. For
Virtue. Bret Hart said that Owen did not want to do that spot. He said multiple times.
I mean, who would?
Owen Hart did not want to do that spot.
He did practice it earlier in the day, though. He did actually do that jump, but it was just some faulty. I mean, they had like the junior.
But Vince didn't kill him. Just like
I didn't say that, Virtue. It's just the way he handled it. It was pure negligence, and Bret Hart saying Owen Hart did not want to do that spot.
Hey, here, I'll give you something that's negligent. How about Tony Khan letting all these guys do stunts in the ring in AEW? That's dangerous. Look at all the injuries that are happening. People are getting badly hurt. He's turning a blind eye and not fixing it.
Yeah, there was
the game.
20,
right, Aaron?
It's not part of the game. No, it's not. He's causing real danger by letting these guys do their crazy indie stunts inside the ring.
Look at Big E. This guy broke his neck. How many people? It happened in that. Aaron, am I missing something? WWE superstars get injured too, right?
I mean, it happens in both companies. There's
everywhere. Let's be honest.
Did Biggie get thrown through a table?
Like that table spot with Logan Paul and Ricochet. Come on, man.
Oh, come on. That's ridiculous. You know as well as I do. There's been some major injuries over the past few years in AEW just from pure recklessness of having tables in every single match on Dynamite. I mean, that's just, and he does nothing about it. He just lets them do their style because, he trusts in his great EVPs and all their good pals to do what's best for business, and they're hurting each other. And he just turns a blind eye and he keeps letting it go. So,
hey, Johnny boy, remember when Rollins injured Sting? He was in his 50s, right? So keep the same energy. Sting got injured in both promotions.
Oh, they banned the buckle bomb right after that. So what's your point?
To be fair, Tito, the buckle bomb is back. So.
What's that?
I said, to be fair, though, Tito, the buckle bomb is back.
Well, they did it for that. They did it for that match with Finn as psychology because that hurt him 7 years ago or whatever it was.
I think he's using it against somebody else.
I don't think it's back. It's for that match.
I think he just uses it less sporadically, basically. But let's move on, guys.
Aaron, super chats.
Yes. Okay. So Mike Anderson brought up Test because Tito did earlier. Said only good thing Test did was banging Stacy Keibler. I mean, he was entertaining. I do think that they kind of dropped the ball with him a little bit, but not too much. I mean, the guy really didn't have much going for him once he lost his push. Like it was clear he was over because of the push. But he was all right. It's so fun.
Yeah, I think if they were going to pull the trigger on him, they needed to do it after the whole Triple H Stephanie marriage thing.
Yeah,
and they just buried him after.
He had a cool theme song, but then when he turned heel and went with Albert did the TNA.
Yeah.
Like I
No.
lost interest in Test.
Bad tag team. Bad tag team.
Interest started to wane in Test when he joined the Union.
I thought you were going to say the Un-Americans.
Nah, the Union. Remember that failed stable?
Yeah.
All the ex-corporate people.
Yep.
And that stuff with Scott Steiner was just brutal. Like I
the testicles.
Walter wanted to bring up the themes. He said Mankind's first theme is very underrated. You know, I like how they did the two different versions, one for his entrance and one for the end when he won.
Yeah. It's almost like an uplifting after such a depressive, dark soul coming towards you, finding a little bit of light and clarity and victory.
Yeah. All right, so this is what Mo's been waiting for. We're going to talk about Roman Reigns here because we have several super chats, so we're gonna try to tie them in together to maybe save a little bit of time here. So we got several possible storylines for Roman, but let's start with how it got to this point. Psycho Jet Black sent in $5. Thank you, Psycho, and said, seriously, why did it take WWE 5 years to turn Roman Reigns heel? Did they really want him to be cheered by the entire crowd no matter what? I'll start. I think it was the same scenario as John Cena, where they saw him as the flagship, the guy who could represent the company as the top baby face. And I think what happened was because of COVID, they decided to take a chance and turn him heel. Why not? There's no fans in the arena. If we're ever going to do it, that was the time to do it. And it worked out. It worked out extremely well, as I figured it would. And John Cena as a heel probably would have worked well too with Cena's abilities on the mic. Tito, what do you think?
I'll be quick on this one. I don't think John Cena should ever turn heel. I mean, he's the best. I don't care what Mo says. He's top 5 draws of the last 40 years here. So
and he was a heel originally before he was big as a main eventer. He was a heel.
Yep.
He started off with the whole word life thing and feuding with the likes of Big Show and stuff.
And Roman was a heel technically too first.
Yeah, the Shield was a heel thing, even though he barely said a word. He was the powerhouse. You're right.
Yeah, I think they were just trying too hard to have him as a, John Cena clone. I think that match with Undertaker was probably maybe the best timing that could have happened then. But I'm kind of glad they didn't do it because, as I said earlier today, Roman just needed more experience, and so by the time they really did turn him heel, he was a 10+ year veteran, and he's been good to go ever since. As you again see by the attendance, the viewership, and the merchandise numbers, they're all going through the roof right now. And just watch this next TV deal, especially with Endeavor backing it. It's going to be ginormous here. I think the only real point you could have turned him was that Undertaker part, because people were pissed about that match and the result of that. And then it wasn't the Raw Virtue after WrestleMania, he had a ton of heat. Yeah,
and he stood there in that ring soaking it in. I think something clicked that night. Like, we didn't see it, but I think we get the Roman today because that night it clicked. Like, oh my God, there's a whole other world out there if they just do it right. And I don't know if it took conversations with Heyman, but we got there eventually.
And maybe the time off between when he left before WrestleMania 36 or whatever to SummerSlam. He had months to think about his character and to reflect and, prepared.
Anybody want to add anything to that? Like, Mo?
I'll try to be quick.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything bad, but I think that this Roman tribal chief character would not work out without his accomplishments, like beating John Cena, beating the Undertaker. So I feel like the timing was so good, and it happened during COVID.
Great point.
While the world was depressed, and how he came back.
Redeemed yourself, Mo.
There you go.
And I like the way they turned him heel, because they didn't just turn him heel in one show. He came at SummerSlam. We weren't 100% sure because the Fiend was a heel and Braun Strowman was a babyface. But then the SmackDown before Payback, we saw him being aligned with Paul Heyman. And then the official heel turn came at Payback. So it took 3 shows. It was like it was layers. So that was creative. I'm not a Roman fan. I'm just giving credit where credit's due because I don't, or else I'm just like a hater. Like, I'm not a hater. I just, you know what I mean? I'll give credit where it's due. Not everyone likes Daniel Bryan, right? Not everyone likes Bray Wyatt. So there's people out
we
there who
know you
don't
like
like
it.
Roman Reigns.
We know you secretly like it. You just don't want to admit it. You just don't want to admit
No,
you're
I'm
wrong.
giving credit where credit is due.
You love your AEW so much. You just can't. It just hurts. It hurts your soul.
I don't, Aaron. I don't watch
over.
AEW. Most of the time, I just watch the clips.
Well, Mo,
what are you watching?
We got some more topics here about Roman Reigns. Building Nexus sent in $2 and says, wouldn't Jimmy versus Roman Reigns be heel versus heel if they do it? Virtue, I mean, we'll have to see what Jimmy says on SmackDown. I mean, what do you think's going to happen here with that? Like, I suspect they'll do the match, but how do you build that up with Jimmy?
Jimmy kicked Roman before Jay did, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, so how would it be heel versus heel? Jimmy's clearly more of a babyface right now, being against Roman and Solo and Paul Heyman.
Or maybe being that tweener role.
Yeah, say he's a tweener.
I mean, at the very worst, tweener, but tweeners tend to get more babyface reaction usually. So,
and Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at Survivor Series. See, I don't know if they're doing war games or if they're doing champion versus champion. I'm not sure I really want to see a champion versus champion match because then somebody has to lose, and I'd rather just keep them separate. JJ, anything you haven't spoken, and Noah, we'll get you guys in here right now. JJ, we'll start with you. Anything on any of those super chats regarding Roman Reigns?
I'll touch on this one real quick. I just haven't heard them promoting the War Games aspect again. So I think it would be Rollins versus Reigns at Survivor Series if they're going for the brand supremacy thing again. You know, we were talking about the possibility of Gunther winning the Rumble, challenging Seth at WrestleMania. This would also make for a decent opportunity for a Damian Priest cash-in after a match of that magnitude and taking the strap off of Rollins. Just something to think about.
Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
If I were to book this whole situation, I would have Rollins. I would have Finn Balor win the Royal Rumble and challenge for the world title.
Oh, but he can't beat Rollins for already.
Didn't we just see that, dude?
I mean, just messed everything up. I would have had Damian Priest cash in, hold that title. Like right when he's about okay, so Finn Balor and Seth Rollins happen at SummerSlam, right? Right when Finn Balor is about to win, Damian Priest cashes it in. So then the fans want Finn Balor to really win the title this time. Right. Have Finn Balor win the Royal Rumble and beat Damian Priest at WrestleMania.
No, I think you need to keep the title on Rollins and keep him away from Roman. I mean, that's a brand new title you create out of thin air. You need someone that needs a lengthy reign so that – I mean, I think I love these longer title reigns. I'm 100% for this, and I think it's part of why WB has grown lately. You actually have credible champions again. It's you have a great Intercontinental champion. How about that? We've been complaining about that for almost 2 decades, folks. And we've got Gunther, and he's a badass with that title. And Austin Theory had the U.S. title for about a year, right? Is around that time. He's had it for a good while.
Close 200-something plus days.
Yeah.
Had a Survivor Series last year.
It's helped make title reigns credible, and then Bianca have her world title reign. I think it's through last year for about a year.
Yes.
So these longer title reigns are, I mean, surprise. They're adding credibility to the championship belts that you have on display. So I'd keep the title on Rollins just for a little longer, make him a credible champion, because you just pluck that out of thin air, because Roman is still technically the Raw and SmackDown champion. He has those 2 titles. So,
all right. Noah, anything you would like to say about these topics with Roman Reigns?
I think War Games was more so just because of where we're at with Survivor Series, close to the land of extreme. Wouldn't surprise me if they go back to traditional fashion, but at the end of the day, if you have Roman Reigns involved in any in-ring capacity, he isn't going to lose. If you're going to try and tease the idea of Seth freaking Rollins one day, keyword one day, going back against Roman Reigns, where Roman Reigns lost to the guy via disqualification, and that was never followed up. Let's also keep that in mind, gentlemen. Then maybe he has Solo Sikoa be his enforcer, his team leader, and then the responsibility falls on him whether or not he's able to deliver at Survivor Series. Does he fail the bloodline like the Usos did? And does Roman Reigns maybe decide that once for all, I need to stay alone on my island of relevancy? That's the way I could see Survivor Series going if you still do the whole brand supremacy thing. But then again, brand split LOL. Let's be honest here. As far as Roman Reigns go, yeah, at the end of the day, if they didn't give Roman Reigns a chance to finally be himself the way he wants to be, and maybe it did take a worldwide pandemic to do that, we probably would not be here at this sort of capacity because, again, the way that Roman Reigns was being booked into oblivion in every babyface dynamic possible, worse than John Cena saving Santa Claus after being run over by Alberto Del Rio with the dog food fame with Baron Corbin, unless we wanted to try and remember that again. It definitely would be a whole different landscape, I feel like, for WWE when it comes to the top of the picture. But until you find the right guy to fit the Roman Reigns mold, Roman Reigns isn't losing his spot.
All right, well said, Noah. Mr. Anderson has another super chat about Roman Reigns. We're getting all the Roman Reigns super chats here. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. He says, I would rather
live
see
viewers
Reigns.
have shut up ever since, by the way.
Absolutely. It's Roman Reigns. Acknowledge him. I would rather see Roman Reigns as undisputed champion until WrestleMania 41 than 1,000 something super kicks on AEW and WWE for 2 years. So this is a knock on both companies for the super kicks. I mean, I think we would all agree that the super kicks may be the most overused move in wrestling.
Aaron, if it's going to be Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso at WrestleMania, I hope they don't just spam super kicks.
They might.
Oh, I can see it. I can literally see them super kicking each other into oblivion. Think about how many super kicks the Usos used against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in that WrestleMania 39 match, if I get my numbers right, since they actually do have numbers, even though they don't tag them with numbers.
No,
it's one of those things where we talk about a whole different tangent. What's declared a finisher versus the signature anymore? A lot of stuff that you would think would be the end of a match is more so a spot or glorified spot fest. Super kick is definitely one of them. The only time a super kick really emphatically mattered was Shawn Michaels because he actually won with it, a single one.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels had a great super kick, but now everybody does it, and it doesn't really mean anything, unfortunately.
Well, Michaels kind of built it up to it too, like his more powerful super kick than just like out of nowhere here. Yeah. But I think with the Usos, they're brothers. They're going to sit on the road and talk about this match. They're probably already talking about it and planning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think we'll see more than just like super kick, extravaganza here.
But you know how like they do the chop offs and that sort of thing. They're going to do the super kick off where they each super kick each other. They stagger, act like they're going to fall, and then they'll.
I don't know. One. I think they both have a lot to prove, and I think they both want to get even deeper into the main event, and they're going to use this as a big opportunity to like blow everybody away with a great match.
Well, I'm sure they'll have a great match, but I do think we're going to see some super kicks. Sun Goshuaku had sent in a super chat. I'm not sure if it went through or not, but we'll read off his comment, and you guys could just give your answer pretty quickly here. Maybe think about it for a second. I'll go first. He says, next month is the 3-year anniversary of the Bloodline storyline. Which of the 3 years has been y'all's favorite? For me, it's year 3, September 2022 to September 2023. Yeah. I agree with him because of what Mr. Tito said with Sami Zayn being part of that storyline. Like he really added the blood to the bloodline. Like he really gave it some new life. It felt like it was starting to get stale for a little bit. And then they got Sami Zayn in the mix and it really heated up this year. Business, as you said, Tito, has been booming. Definitely has to be this last year of it. Anybody have a different opinion? Want to defend one of the other years? Or not Tito? I know you agree with me. Yep. Mo, what year is your favorite? I know you love the Bloodline.
Anything involving Sami Zayn. Anything involving Sami Zayn.
Fair enough. And Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah.
I know you guys sound alike. Like if I close my eyes and you talk, I could picture Kevin Owens.
And by the way, I just want to say one thing before I freaking forget, and it's been on my mind for 3 months now. Edge has been cleared. Daniel Bryan has been cleared. Maybe Big E might be cleared. Why not Jason Jordan? Does this guy just not want to not wrestle? Like, what's going on? Or are they teasing him to come back because he's always in the pull apart?
Wasn't it the neck fusion they had? Didn't you have that?
Yeah,
I think he's probably just happy being a producer. From what I heard, Corey Graves was cleared to come back, and he's just content being a commentator at this point. Doing what he's doing. He has no desire. And honestly, the only way I would want to see Corey Graves is like a surprise entrant in the Rumble. Just to get that surprise pop. But other than that, just
He's got kids and one on the way, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So switching gears here, we talked about Roman. We'll see if the numbers go down, Virtue. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He said, seriously, how would you book Gable Steveson? Gable Stevenson's been a hot topic. The crowds have kind of turned against him as of late. Tito, what do we do with this guy? Like, do we keep trying with him? Do we turn him heel? Do we try to put him in there with Kurt Angle? Like, what do you think they should do with him?
I got to play the ignorance on this one. What's the story that's like got all the fans pissed at him? What did I miss?
Well, I guess he might have been accused of rape or something at some point. I know people were bringing that up. And yeah, so they're already trying to cancel him. And
it's another he's obviously he's a wrestler amateur, right? Gold medalist, but he's not a pro wrestler through the indie circuit. They feel he's going to be forced. I think that's why they're turning on him.
But they're not turning on him because of that alleged.
That's just probably part of the they're going to use that as the excuse why. But he's not one of their indie darlings, I think. And, granted, he's probably green, right? He's going to need a mouthpiece. He's an incredible athlete, and I think he's getting, other than his punches, right? I don't know, got to work on punches, but I think he can do that part of it. But how do you get over in front of a crowd if you don't have
and maybe
babyface charisma?
And maybe people they have unrealistic expectations. Everyone expects him to be great right away, like Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle was like one in a million,
Baron, I think it's because he was also spamming suplexes during that match with Baron Corbin. It was getting really boring.
What Brock Lesnar does.
Great. Well, Great American Bash, to be fair, was also his in-ring debut on a bigger stage behind the closed doors of the NXT Performance Center to try to recreate Raw Underground, according to highlights I've seen. So I almost feel like, isn't Gable Steveson like the prototype that was brought in for the NIL program or something like that, or what became the NIL program?
Yeah,
Virtue, like you said, he's not.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the thing. He can't commit to pro wrestling in his mind. He keeps wanting to do the amateur stuff and the Olympics and all that. And that's why he's been in and out, back and forth. And fans don't like wrestling. Fans want you in their bubble and commit 100%. I'm surprised, Logan Paul, it's worked for him, right?
Yeah.
But people still hate him. The high-heart wrestling fans hate the part-timers. But obviously, look at some of these guys. They're succeeding.
Yeah.
I do think also, Virtue, I do think
Logan Paul picked it up.
Some hate with the fact that people are looking at, it's like I talked about with the Silver Take with JJ. Some people react to a person they see on screen in a wrestling capacity based more so on personality, not necessarily job choice or job performance, if we're being honest here as well. Anyway.
All right. JJ, your thoughts.
I wanted to go ahead and weigh on this one since I think I'm the only one on the panel that actually watches the current NXT product.
Okay. Well, I did see the match with Corbin.
But I was going to go back to that. I think part of the problem was that they backed themselves into a corner with the Baron Corbin match because Corbin had just gotten back down there, was trying to reinvent himself. And here's Gable Steveson coming out and having his very first match. You job out Corbin and you undo everything he's trying to do, trying to find himself down there. You job out Gable Steveson and you've just made this amateur wrestling god, if we will, lose in his very first match. What they need to do is they need to Goldberg him. They need to start just throwing him a bunch of developmental jobbers, people we see on Level Up that don't even make the real NXT TV, and just let them squash these guys in a couple of minutes. And then you've got some steam behind him when he actually gets a legitimate competitor like a Corbin or something, or a Breaker or a Carmelo Hayes. You've actually built something up where it's going to be a big deal. Is Hayes going to lose his title, or is Steveson actually going to take his first L here?
I mean, it could just boil down to maybe obviously cancel culture that always gets revved up, but
I didn't even know about this story though.
I've heard something was out there, but I didn't fully know. But how long? When did he start? When did he sign? I know it was like a post WrestleMania signing, right? few years ago.
Last 2020 or
last
2019?
year.
A few years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know he had the appearance at 38, and then he did a move with, I think, Chad Gable, but yeah, that he pretty much been MIA.
I mean, who knows? Maybe expectations are just too damn high following Kurt Angle and Shelton Benjamin and Brock Lesnar, who like picked up on it quickly and were, well, at least 2 out of 3 of them were major main event stars. So who knows?
Patience wears thin, especially nowadays when it comes to anybody in society in and out of this industry.
Well said.
Excuse me. Mr. Anderson sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Says Jason Jordan comes back and joins Alpha Academy. I don't think he can wrestle.
No, not with the way that his neck right now is literally infused. He would be at risk. It's almost like how Nikki Bella, for example, was nearly at risk of going permanently handicapped. You got to take these things very delicately, and you just got to accept the fact you can't do what you may have previously wanted to do or could do in the ring. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, like you even talked about, Jason Jordan, Corey Graves, several of these people have come to accept that. Not easy, but it's something you just have to come to grips with. I don't think he's ever coming back to the ring. I really don't.
Damn,
I don't think
is it really that bad? And I really like Jason Jordan. I really did.
Well, it's very likely his dad, Kurt Angle, gave him some advice on neck injuries and told him not to come back.
Hey, he's got a nice job. He's still working for WWE, working behind the scenes, and he's
still
a lot
yoked.
of great matches.
He's still jacked.
But listen, for my money, when him and when the Alpha Academy or wait, what was their tag team called? I forget.
American Alpha.
Thank you.
Alpha.
When they beat what FTR used to be called, I'm forgetting that as well.
The Revival.
But that was a highly emotional win for him. Like he was crying in the ring, legitimately, when he held his NXT tag titles there.
Yep.
I mean, that right there is pro wrestling in a nutshell. If you want to see like what it means to these guys in the ring, all these guys who worked hard to get up to that moment. I mean, that title win was, that sadly that's like the peak of his career as he's with the neck injury and such. But that right there was a highly emotional moment. If anybody hasn't seen that match, go check it out.
NXT TakeOver Dallas.
Bingo.
All right, well, we're going to talk about another Gable here real quick. Building Nexus sent in $2. Should Chad Gable, or is he maybe talking about Gable?
Nope, that's Gable S. Gable Stevenson.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that, Noah. So, it's late here. It's 11 o'clock. We've been going for 3 hours now. Should Gable Stevenson feud with Dirty Dominic? I mean, if he can't get cheered against Dirty Dom, you might as well throw in the towel on that guy, right?
Neither of them are. They're too green in the ring.
Ooh. You think you need somebody with more experience?
Yeah.
No, I can agree with that. I get the idea of Dirty Dom because of the heel heat, and that would get Gable cheered. But maybe Gable needs to just go heel. Maybe that will help him find his personality,
Yeah, because the thing is, right now, he really doesn't have an identity. The fact of the matter that Baron Corbin is literally getting a personality or trying to develop personality out of Von Wagner speaks values.
Let me say this: I love Dominic Mysterio. I'm so proud of what he's become.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, you got to think he's a kid of Rey Mysterio Jr. That's a lot of expectations, and we've seen him on camera for many years as a little kid. And to see him just killing it right now, it's a beautiful thing. Because before he turned heel, you didn't think it like, doesn't seem like he has that much potential.
No.
But he is loving that character and working with Rhea. It's a beautiful thing. And again, it's, as I said before, Jason Jordan winning his titles. It's like these moments right here is why all of us are still hooked as wrestling fans. We want to see stuff like this. And it keeps the syringe or whatever in the veins here.
Adrenaline in your soul.
What's that? Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you're so happy to see Dominic Mysterio just clicking and just killing it and getting all the crowd reactions and I mean he's got like a great career ahead of him now that it's clicking and he's probably yet to enter his prime years and he's already getting so much damn heat. So. Sky's the limit. This is going to be a cool ride for him.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, and it was a year ago that we were clamoring for him to turn heel.
Yeah,
because he was starting to tease it.
Yep.
And then when he did, there was those couple of stutter steps. It was like, was this the right idea? And then, man, it just
The
skyrocketed.
WrestleMania prison entrance. He gained so much confidence from that spot.
Yeah, bar none.
Like he was feeling that entrance. You could just feel it.
Yep. He's got the hair like Ray or Eddie used to,
Yeah.
like that crazy looking mullet. I love it.
And you know when Dom is finally ready to flip that switch and come back and save his dad from a beatdown.
Yep.
The crowd is just going to go freaking nuts for it.
Yep.
Bar none.
And he'll be much more experienced by then as well. So it's all going to click and so I mean, I know it's ironic that we're kind of like I've been ripping Triple H's developmental system, but there's a couple young pups that are kind of there for WB, and meanwhile AEW is trying to hope that a 44-year-old CM Punk's going to recapture what he had in 2011. And I'm here to tell you, it ain't happening, bro.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. He's got to change things up. We got to see a different side of CM Punk. But let's get to these last couple super chats here. I want you guys right now to think about 3 matches you would change the results of. If you could go back and change 3 match results in history, think about that now. But first, Dylan Lasagna sent in $5, and he brought up Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for the women's title at WrestleMania 40 has been a hot Twitter topic, but does either of them truly benefit from winning in Philly? So that seems to be the obvious women's title match for WrestleMania. And you could say that this is Becky's time to get the title back. Rhea's held on to it. It'll be a year by that point. So who would benefit more from winning that? Virtue, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, Becky's kind of – what has she done lately? Like Trish Stratus?
That's it.
And Rhea Ripley's like on
done nothing.
Fire the last year with this group and Dominic. What's that?
I said she's really done nothing. Unfortunately, yeah, I said unfortunately she's really done nothing since winning the belt.
So I would not. Yeah, I wouldn't say Becky because like Becky's had her run, right?
Yeah.
I think winner or loser doesn't matter, especially if you just watched Rhea versus Charlotte this past WrestleMania. Like that match was amazing. Just go out there and put on a great match. The result doesn't matter. If you just blow everybody's mind with a Herculean effort out there, I mean, like Rhea won, right? Rhea won the title there. Okay, so I'm still trying to remember who won it. I just remember it was an amazing, mind-blowing.
It was Rhea Ripley who not only won the Royal Rumble this year, coming out for the #1 spot, running the field, Mr. Tito. She got her 3-year redemption, beating Charlotte Flair in what felt like the main event that night for her, particularly being the Royal Rumble winner. It was one of the best matches that WWE has done in a long time in women's wrestling in general. It was an absolute classic. I loved it.
And I love the moment where Charlotte Flair is sitting, like leaning against the ring apron, just laughing because she knew they killed it. She knew she had the match of her lifetime right then and there. And that's what I think these two ladies right here especially should think about here. Becky versus Rhea. If that is the match at WrestleMania 40, just have a great match. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. You're both over. So you can probably reclaim the title at any time. Just have, I mean, that's what we need more from the women's division, in my opinion. You just need these bangers of matches that are seriously competing for match of the year. So just, I think if they just go out there and get 5 stars from everybody, even Dave, they'll be fine.
Right. I agree with that. I think, 7 months from now, we'll have to see where Becky's at, where Rhea's at. And at that point, you can decide who needs it more. But yeah, you're right. They just need to go out there. And I think it should be the match. I know some people are saying Raquel or Liv Morgan. No, it should be Becky. Becky, Rhea, one-on-one for the championship. I definitely think that's the right direction for the.
They haven't run it back since that tease one-on-one with brand supremacy back in the black and gold NXT. It's their time to do it on the grandest stage.
Absolutely.
Long overdue.
Hey, what do you think about? Because I think Charlotte hinted at it the other day about somehow getting Charlotte versus Sasha at WrestleMania 40. What do you guys think?
If they could get Sasha back, sure, why not? I mean, I don't know who else you put Charlotte in there with her because she's
Sasha's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, she's already had her match with Bianca several matches, and they'll probably keep going here over the next several months.
I mean, they haven't had that true one-on-one, to be fair. You still really haven't had that true Belair versus Flair. And in my opinion, that's still the biggest money match right now they could do with the Smackdown women's roster. I've been waiting for that for the longest time. And JJ, you even talked about how Bianca Belair has conquered the so-called 3 of the 4 horsewomen of NXT. And I know that was also teased as well. But again, brand split, LOL. Based on brand identities, the WrestleMania marquee matches I could see, Rhea versus Becky and Belair versus Flair. And I don't think necessarily, like Miss Tito said, you even need a title for that. Just steal the show. Prove your worth. Let's see who truly is the BEST.
And I love like Charlotte and Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. Those are 4 like all-time greats in my opinion. I mean, in terms of just pure talent and ring size and presence. I mean, I think you just have any matches interchangeable with each other. As Sun was saying there, we really haven't had like a massive Rhea versus Bianca match.
Nope.
That I think that'll be huge because again, by that time, both of them will be so experienced and they'll just destroy. And it'll probably be maybe the best women's match if and when that happens at the right time because those 2 are both studs. I mean, they're tremendous athletes and they're big, long, lengthy. They're strong as hell. You know, they're just incredible talents. And WWE is quite blessed to have those 4 right now as the top dogs in that division.
All right, guys, let's move on here. Let's get back to the other topic I brought up. Rage of Wrestling sent in $5. Walter Cruz. Anybody have an answer here that they're ready to go with?
One.
JJ.
Go ahead, JJ.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Triple H versus Booker T at WrestleMania.
We brought that up earlier. I did.
I'm going to say the Royal Rumble 06, Edge versus Cena. I don't think Cena should have taken the belt back that quickly.
Fair point.
And I'm going to go with SummerSlam 2010, the Nexus versus Team WWE.
We did bring that up.
There's no reason that the Nexus should have lost that match. They were too much in their infancy. They had a whole lot of run still in them, and they killed them, made them DOA with Super Cena taking that match.
All right, Virtue, what were you going to say?
Daniel Bryan should not have lost his title to Kofi Kingston, especially in the middle of the show. You had Seth beat Brock in the opener. I was at that WrestleMania. And I think, granted, the triple threat women's match in the main event could have been laid out a lot better. But Becky just didn't. I think those other wins earlier in the night really took Becky's heat away. I don't know. I would have had Daniel Bryan was having an incredible run. You could even had Kofi go over in the summer at some point, have it like a month title reign, make the people happy. I can't believe they ended that Daniel Bryan run. It's probably why he's not there anymore.
I mean, that's a solid pick. Although Kofi Mania was a big moment for a lot of people. Mr. Tito, you got any?
Man, that's a tough question.
It is. I got one, but I'm not sure how people feel. But I hated the fact that Triple H beat Sting at WrestleMania. I just was not a fan of that or the whole match in general.
That was just nostalgia match.
I mean,
that's what that was.
I mean, the obvious one is Sting versus Hogan, Starrcade '97.
What about Tito? What about Bill Goldberg and Kevin Nash? Was that the right decision?
That whole promotion was a hot mess by then. I don't know.
Yeah,
accurate.
I mean, they were reportedly piping in those Goldberg chants hard there towards the end. I need to think on this one. Obviously, that's a loaded question.
It is. But I questioned if that was the right decision of Kevin Nash. I mean, ideally, somebody who was going to be built up as a new top star could have gotten the rub off of Goldberg.
Actually, I have I just thought of one. So obviously, Sting versus Hogan. I really don't like the WrestleMania 17 finish of that match where Austin turns heel and joins Vince McMahon. That always rubbed me the wrong way.
I wouldn't have changed the finish, like the winner, but I would have not had it go down the way it did.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that part with the Nexus, but you know, the Nexus falling apart caused CM Punk to take it over, and then you know that gave Bray Wyatt his first job in the promotion. Same with Hennig's boy. and it kind of put CM Punk on that right projection for 2011. So I wouldn't change that one, but I would say I just thought of one here. I actually attended the true downfall of the WCW promotion, and that was in Pittsburgh, PA, when Kurt Angle beat Booker T for the WCW title. God. It was such an unnecessary win. Now, granted, that's my only time I've seen a world title change hands in person, which is kind of cool. But like it immediately just the credibility of WCW as a brand was already in the shredder by then. But now their title was just randomly dropped on a random episode of SmackDown. It was over.
And like I said earlier, Goldberg not winning at SummerSlam in that chamber match.
Elimination chamber, yeah.
Anybody else got a match they can think of?
Torn groin in that match too, yeah.
Mo.
Yeah, I would have had Bray Wyatt go over Cena at WrestleMania 40. I would have had The Fiend squash Goldberg in like 60 seconds. And I would have had Royback go over Cena at that Payback pay-per-view in 2012. I would have had Royback win the title. Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't say Cody over Roman at WrestleMania this year.
No, it's like I said, it's too soon.
You like that long title reign, don't you?
I want it to be extra long.
All right, we got one more here, and then we'll do our plugs. Last super chat, I think, of the night. Mr. Anderson sent in $2, and you guys can say one word, or you can go on a spiel if you want. Is Dirty Dom a future world champion in WWE? I'll go first. I would say maybe at this point. Like I think it's too early to tell. He's young, so 10 years from now, he might be the man. He might be amazing. He's already getting great. Time will tell on him, but I don't want to confidently say yes. JJ, any thoughts?
I feel like if he stays on the trajectory that he's on right now and keeps his mouth shut backstage and his ears open, absolutely. I could see him as Mr. Money in the Bank within the next 5 years, probably getting his title reign that way.
All right. Noah?
I definitely could see the potential, but again, like you said, Aaron, I think it is too soon. Rey Mysterio, he did get the moment. Now, what you want to say about circumstance WrestleMania 22 is what it is. He eventually did get the moment. But the thing about Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, you can clearly see they are two different individuals on screen. I think he definitely could obtain it, just not anytime soon.
Virtue?
Yes, as long as they keep the 2 world title system.
Yeah, fair point.
Accurate.
Point. Mo, yes or no?
Unpopular opinion. I'm not quite right now. I'm not sold on him. Like, he's not good on the mic. His wrestling is like, maybe in 5 years, who knows? Maybe he might come back shredded. He might be improving the ring. He might be more charismatic on the mic, but not right now.
Yeah, it'll be a while. It's not going to be immediate future. Tito,
so Dom needs to be more shredded, but Adam Cole
knew he was going there. I knew
it. Whenever you started, here we go again.
For Noah, I'll shut the
face.
Shut up for Noah. And for Noah, I'll be quiet.
All right, Tito, yes or
Tito
no, or maybe.
I mean, we just talked about earlier in the day, like Roman got really good 10 years with 10 years experience. So look at Dom. Look how good Dom is right now.
Yeah.
And again, they're starting him low. He's like, was he the champion in NXT somewhere?
Yeah, NXT North American Championship.
Yep. So, 10 years from now, it's a possibility. He'll have much more experience and maybe more shredded. Who knows? But anything's possible. But I think he's got a great start, and I think his dad's going to be around for a while. That's going to help him. He's proven himself, but having his dad around is going to help. And his dad being a great ambassador is always going to have goodwill towards the Mysterio family. He might get the benefit of the doubt. As Virtue said, as long as there's 2 titles, anyone can win the title. Well, a lot of people have won the title. Miz, Kofi Kingston, the guy in 2016.
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Swagger. Why did you say it, Virtue?
Swagger, Ziggler. I mean, there's been a lot of
miscellaneous.
Maybe shouldn't have won the world title situations.
Hey, Tito, what about this one? I call it now. Mr. Anderson said, Ricochet or Dominic, who's winning the world title first?
I think Ricochet's already peaked. I think you're seeing the best of him right now. Dom's got a lot more yards to gain here.
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ricochet ain't winning that world title. Just ain't happening.
No.
I give him credit. I like that match with Logan Paul, though. I think that'll help him a little bit in the short term. That he put on a good opening match at SummerSlam. But I fear that Ricochet's peaked already.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I kind of feel this guy has peaked as well. This guy experienced, not him, but Bobby Lashley getting another world title. I think he's like 46 now. I think he had his run. I don't see him becoming world champion again, but I'm glad he got it.
Yeah. I like the fact he's a manager now for the Street Profits, guiding them, giving them a new direction, new character development. So I don't think necessarily it's going to be a hurt business, but I do think business will pick up, particularly for these three individuals. He doesn't need to be world champion again.
I like the Street Profits new finisher. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good. And I like Lashley in the role he's in, and he'll still have some big matches. Like I think he'll be in some big matches, but no, I don't see him being world champion again.
No.
All right. So on that note, we are done. Over 3 hours. Thank you to everybody that was on the panel tonight. You guys were all great. Thank you to everybody that super chatted. Another very successful milestone no DQ review. Virtue's going to wrap us up, but we'll do our plugs right now. JJ, tell us where we can find you.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on for the festivities here for the review episode 250. You can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, YouTube, Casa D18 Studios, X ROWJJ Williams. You can check me out. I've got movie reviews coming up 3 or 4 times a week. Plus, I'm part of the greater Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse Media, where we stream all of our open mic nights and watch-alongs and so much more. We've got freaking 3 watch-alongs coming up this week. We're doing one for NXT Heatwave, AEW All In, NWA 75, and Impact Emergence. Just so much in store this coming week.
Thank you for that, JJ. Tito, tell us about your latest column.
Sure. If you go to NoDQ.com, my latest column is talking about CM Punk. And actually today, August 20th, is the 2-year anniversary of his debut in AEW on that Rampage episode in Chicago.
In United Center.
Yep. So it's a 2-year anniversary. So I kind of wrote a column in honor of that. I think it said something effective. CM Punk's in AEW. Was it worth the effort of AEW to get him there? Based upon, his age, all the factors, all the events that have occurred, but also looking back in past history here about how do you build a promotion. And most of the times you don't bring in a star that might be past their prime. You usually try to get a free agent that's peaking or organically grow your talent roster. I don't know. But it's posted on NoDQ.com. I give you socials, but I went private on my socials because I was tired of fighting all day long with people. So I have a few people that I have followed here, and I certainly chat amongst my good friends here at NoDQ. But I don't have any socials because I got over it, man. Too much drama.
Good on you.
It's understandable. But you can monetize on Twitter now. So if you reinstate your account and get verified, you can get paid to tweet. Just saying.
Twitter's just gone down to hell.
Oh, jeez.
Accurate.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you. And much love to Psycho Jet Black, who's a regular contributor and very, very active on these streams. Much love. He says, I want to thank NoDQ for all the years of content. You guys helped me through tough times like my grandpa being sick. He's doing better now. Happy to hear. Thank you. We thank you as well and glad he's doing better. And Mr. Anderson brought up, he sent in another super chat about Gunther. We did talk about this earlier.
Yeah.
Virtue, you said that Gunther should just win the world title and then relinquish the IC title. So
I'd like to see that.
You said nobody. I'm going to go ahead on a limb and say Braun Breaker is the guy that does it. Yes.
I'm with Virtue because if he he can almost quietly merge the IC title into that world title by not dropping, and it'll make a stronger World Heavyweight Championship. So I'm with Virtue on this one.
All right, Mo?
We're agreeing too much, buddy. We're agreeing way too much.
We're getting old.
Yes.
Mo, who's going to dethrone Gunther?
So if I was booking the show, I would have Chad Gable chase a little bit and have him win at Survivor Series because that's like the next big pay-per-view. So have him win the title at Survivor Series to make it special, like a big feel moment. You know, I'm not have Gunther just lose the title as soon as he breaks the record. That's just too easy, too predictable. Have him drop it to Chad Gable at Survivor Series.
Well, that's a solid pick. I mean, people love Gable. He's got momentum right now. We'll see what happens. But Mo, I'm going to let you go because I did want to let Walter come back in and do his plug since he's been such a big part. Thank you for tuning in, Mo. Great banter with Mr. Tito. Very entertaining stuff. And thank you for being on.
All right,
Take care, Mo.
Nice meeting you, Mo.
Take care, Mo. You're a good person.
All right, now we're going to bring back, because he stayed in the waiting room the whole time. Walter's back here just to give us his plug. Walter, tell us what you got for us. Oh, you already did. So any last words you got?
No, just thank you for having me up here. That's okay. Good. Thanks for having me up here. And again, congratulations on the 250. NoDQ is part of my entertainment for years. So thank you for making me part of the family. I appreciate it. And thank you for all the viewership for everyone.
I recognize that.
Noah, we know you always have a great spiel. Go ahead.
Nah, I keep it condensed and simple here because I know how tired we are, and I know that the chat could try and light you up again. You need to get to bed, brother. Folks, again, find me simply on the Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Screw whatever the hell else it is. Twitter and YouTube, see what I mean, and Foster1916 for all things wrestling, where I simply wish to encourage you to just enjoy live and enjoy professional wrestling too. It's as simple as that, because what am I but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling, damn it. But I digress. It's been fun, guys. Congrats again on 250. I'll see you soon here once again on the predictions panel and the review again too.
Much love to you. And Mr. Anderson said, do you guys see Dragunov joining Imperium?
No. He has every tool right now. He can speak on the mic. He's a great in-ring worker. I don't think he needs to be part of Imperium, even though he has those roots with Gunther, a.k.a. Walter, where Gunther says he's the new Walter. And as far as Walter and the Intercontinental Championship run, why either Dragunov and JD McDonough are the two names that come to my mind. I like the fact they're pushing Chad Gable because he hasn't had a singles championship yet. This could be a slow burn, a long haul, but they could do the Keith Lee approach, Tito and Virtue do it better, where Keith Lee had the World and the North American Championship. So, I mean, we'll see.
Dragunov should be an opponent, not an ally of the Imperium.
Yeah, like we did bring up, on that topic of who could possibly beat Gunther. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but they could always put Dragunov in there as a challenger for Gunther and have them wrestle on the main roster for the IC title. I don't think Dragunov's going to win it, but that is something that they could do.
He beat him at TakeOver. Just saying, give him his first loss in his entire NXT UK career.
And Psycho Jet Black says NoDQ has more credibility than Mustafa Ali. Oh, we had to get a dig at Mustafa Ali. Poor Ricochet. Poor Ali. And,
appreciate the sentiment, but that's not saying much.
Yeah.
And the final question: how has NoDQ changed your life? Well, I don't know what I'd be doing without it. And I have my wife because of NoDQ. Like it's been very impactful. Don't know if it changed anybody else's life, but it did change mine.
Aaron has me in his life because of NoDQ, and it goes on and on.
I mean, I have some great friends, like everybody in this panel and everybody that's been on. Like, just it's been a great outlet to have discussion and just having fun times. Tito?
Well, think about my situation. I jumped ship here from another major website, and that other website didn't do things like this. I wouldn't be on this screen chatting with you guys on a Sunday night about some pro wrestling.
Be quiet.
So I would say I've got a lot more creative in my time here on wrestling projects and other stuff like that. So,
Walter, I'm going to boot you again real quick. Well, for good. We love you, Walter, but
see you, brother.
So, real quick. Jeff is here. Jeff's been a big part of the NoDQ review. I don't know if he's going to be on the camera or not.
I'm working. I'm trying. Hang on.
It wouldn't be Jeff on our stream without some kind of technical difficulty.
Absolutely.
There's a storm going on out there.
He took my technical difficulty from earlier.
And the rain's coming in.
Welcome back, Jeff. All right, so Jeff, any final thing you would like to say before we wrap up the 250th No DQ review?
Well, the question was asked how it changed my life. I mean, I wouldn't be able to have a shirt with my own name on it looking like my LA Kings logo. If it wasn't for being on No DQ, I wouldn't have my own podcast channel. There's that.
I mean, everything we've done, that definitely was a big change for you.
It's getting to do every single thing I've done inside the professional wrestling business other than be a fan is because of you. I mean, that's just long and short of it. Shut up, Greg. You're terrible. God, let's just inflate the ego even more.
Clip that.
Yeah, we got to clip that. Yeah,
right. Seriously. It's funny you mentioned. You mentioned having you had your wife because of doing No DQ. It's she was a fan of watching the media stuff all for years, and it's freaking crazy that that happened. It's a wonderful thing. I would not be able to go this Friday. I don't know if it's loaded in the chat or whatever, if somebody else loaded the plug, but I'm going to the Garcia Twins podcast event thing on Friday. The former Nikki Bella, Nikki Garcia, is actually celebrating her year wedding anniversary with Artem as part of that show. So Artem's going to be there. Nicole's going to be there. Brianna's going to be there. Apparently, the whole family is going to be there. And because of being on No DQ and having my own podcast channel as a result, because of this muckerfuther in the upper middle, we raised enough super chat money last night that I am going to go, and if he shows up, I'm going to approach John Laurinaitis.
Oh, we got to get a camera. Film.
Hold on. Let me finish my pitch, dude. I promise everybody will get to see the video after we show it. My buddy Clay is going with me again, and unlike last time where I was advised not to approach John, I am approaching John, and I'm going to extend my hand in an attempt to make peace. And either he will shake my hand on camera because he knows he has to save face, or he proves to be the biggest douchebag he is. And either way, we have exclusive content for Mike Night the next night on the Jeff Beach Network. So either way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Either way, we'll have good shit for you guys next Saturday.
Sounds good. We love you, Jeff, and thank you.
I love you guys too. Thank you so much,
for
Tito.
20 plus years.
Yeah, Tito, I know I give you a big ration of shit, and it's not deserved. Same with No Camera earlier. I give everybody a lot of crap, and
it's all right, man. You're a good man.
It's I try very hard to be a good man, and it's
good.
I'm just gonna go ahead and fly out, sit here on my high horse.
Listen, you wouldn't be wrestling fans if you didn't cut promos on each other every
Fair
so
point.
Exactly.
Fair point. I get told a lot by this. I can't really point, but this guy and the guy to my left here that we became fans because No DQ. It's like Aaron and I can sit there and go, "Yep, that's right. We did this shit. Thank you." I'll pull a Trish Stratus. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Jeff. You're welcome, guys. We love you all. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't have started doing my stuff with Renegade Wrestling back in 2011 if it wasn't for Talk Wrestling.
Very cool.
Simple as that. And I've been doing stuff on and off now for 12 years. Granted, there was a long time when I was dormant after the original incarnation of the Casa de 18 Studios fell.
Yes.
But slowly but surely, I started to put things back together. Ended up getting monetized this year through the success of everything that I've been doing and doing stuff with Jeff and being visible on your guys' shows. I've been getting paid out every month. I wouldn't be anywhere near that if it wasn't for meeting you guys all those years ago at PWG, becoming friends with y'all, and seeing the Talk Wrestling and even some of the old XMV videos.
Yeah, and honestly, I do want to give as much crap as we ended up getting from them later. I do need to credit the people that ran PWG at the time. Maybe not the ones that run it now, but the guys that ran it back then, because they gave us pretty much the run of the place. Like they really did. They were really cool to us once we actually were able to, get things calmed down. But we were able to film, pretty much anywhere in the locker room there, in the hallway, like pretty much anywhere we wanted to go once we showed up. So
and think about this, guys. We've been doing this over 2 decades. I mean, wow.
Right?
Like I'll be my anniversary is coming up here in October. 25 damn years of doing this stuff.
Yeah, Aaron and I hit 20. Well, Aaron and I hit 20 doing video, audio, video last year. This is 25 for Aaron this year.
Yeah,
for the original website. Period.
Mr. Tito, I mean, changed my life because I went online and read his fat daily column on Lords of Pain.
Hell, yeah, dude, seriously.
And that helped inspire me. I was already started I think June of '98, but I remember October. Yep. November started reading his columns, and that really got me motivated. So thank you, Tito.
Seriously. Lords of Pain was one of the few websites you could go to at the time before WWF, WCW, Jesus Christ, got established. That didn't riddle your freaking computer with Yahoo ads. It's like no wait.
I still have a Yahoo email, but who would have thought that random encounter at an NXT live house show in 2018 would lead to meeting a person, discovering this, and now this has become a thing as I approach 5 years being a part of this fun little soiree in October. So again, thank you everybody.
Yeah, and you know what, Aaron? It's what do we as far as NoDQ. Being associated with you and getting me hired for the one and only play-by-play gig I ever did that I got paid for, because of me being involved with you, I got Jenna's band paid $600 freaking for that show.
Very nice.
So Jenna owes your ass a lot too.
Real quick, Mr. Anderson sent in $2. He says, "Is Kevin Owens returning? What's going on with the tag team titles?" He actually did wrestle after SmackDown.
He did
off the air in a dark match, so he's around. They're going to be doing something with the titles very soon. So that cool. Pretty much sums that up. Thank you, Mr. Anderson, for all of your super chats tonight.
Yes, thank you.
And we got to get Greg on the Jeff Meacham network so he can get more seasoned with these live streams, Jeff.
I would have to agree. We have our Saturday show open mic night, man. Anybody that has I'll say the word intelligent with a grain of salt, opinion about wrestling or about the topics that moderator crazy over there, decides to bring into the chat room on Saturdays, hey, like with you, just let us see how you react on camera, and we'll go from there.
Well, he was
and that's another thing, I owe my moderation of open mic night a lot to this show. I took a little bit of virtue watching this stuff go down, and granted, we go 4, sometimes 5 hours on a weekly basis. We can't keep it as mainstreamed as y'all do. Things just get way too cluster-effy on the show.
Oh, yeah.
But watching the review, seeing how you handle the weekly topics, me and Jeff have both joked in private that it's basically a Wish version of the NoDQ review.
It really, and
so we owe that to you, Virtue, and to Aaron.
Yeah. We can do theme nights like last night, though, Jay, where we raised, $475?
Yeah.
Right?
Amongst 3 channels.
Doing karaoke.
Doing British Invasion karaoke that has nothing to do with professional wrestling other than Motorhead and maybe a couple of other bands that got featured last night.
Garfunkel, congratulations. I'll see you again soon in person.
Yeah, it was cool. And Greg Cherry, who hasn't, actively sought out YouTube super chats in a year, took home whatever it was, $130 himself last night.
There you go.
So there you go.
All right. Virtue's ready for bed, as am I.
Yes.
So
I can see it.
From Rage
He's
of
got his
Wrestling.
glasses on, and I can still see it in his eyes.
Yeah, we're pretty much zonked here. But Rage of Wrestling sent in $2. Says Gable has shoosh, and now he has be quiet.
That's right.
That's a new. We got to get a clip of that.
For that
and
too.
Virtue and I arguing, and Mo Camera and Mr. Tito going at it. We had some great moments. So we got to get some clips. We had some great moments tonight. Thank you all, everybody that tuned in. Much love and appreciation. Virtue, let's take it home now. 250 episodes. Go ahead.
250 episodes and counting. I'm sure you'll still see me. Don't worry about it.
Aww.
At NoDQ_Virtue on X.com. also known as Twitter. A little more mild-mannered these days as I used to be. And yes, go to Mania, but go to NoDQ.com/merch and check out all the great merchandise. And guess what? We're going to come back and do this thing one more time. And then time after that, and time after that, and time after that until we can get to 300. That's our next milestone. So NoDQ Galaxy, for Aaron Rift and the whole NoDQ Galaxy, we will see you again next time. Good night for this marathon. I can't believe we almost hit 4 hours. But thank you. We'll see you next time.
Have a good night, folks.
Thank you, everyone.
Easy.
So just chill till